record. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Booze and Biz. Today is February 15th, and tonight we're talking about how to replace yourself, how to hire somebody to replace yourself. Sorry, no, that was last week. There's a two-parter. Tonight is training somebody to replace yourself. So anyways, welcome to the greatest show on the internet involving drinking and business. We've had a great time. We've had some crazy episodes the last couple weeks. Last week was another 4-hour banger. It was good times. So tonight I'm actually drinking vodka. Yes, vodka. I haven't drank vodka since I was in high school. Legitimately, I was a junior in high school, and vanilla Coca-Cola had just come out, and vanilla vodka maybe just came out. I don't know. I was in high school, and I decided it'd be a good idea to mix those two together. That was a bad night. I didn't drink liquor, period, for years, plural, after that. And then I don't think I've drank vodka really since then. Like, I've had a vodka drink here and there, whatever. But I was super hungover, and I was talking to a buddy. He's like, bro, you got to get off the brown stuff, get on the clear stuff. So we're going to do vodka. Because just kind of talking to Justin. I'm lowered the drinking levels as well, Friday, Saturday, Wednesday, basically. So anyways, we're doing vodka, trying to avoid some hangovers. No vodka sponsors. Still no alcohol sponsors. I'm trying. Okay. Tonight I'm drinking Sam's Club vodka.
Start getting you to drinking Happy Dads, man.
Is that a vodka?
It's actually it's a seltzer, and they got electrolytes in them. They're pretty good, but I got some pulls. I might be able to get you a Happy Dad sponsor.
Let's go. I'll try them. Yeah, let me try them. Make sure I like them. But I will take the sponsorship. Let's go.
You are definitely fit the Happy Dad brand. You're a happy dad.
Love it, dude. I am a dad. So if you guys want to support the show, do so please by supporting the businesses that support us. You can find them in the comments down below of the podcast and on the YouTube channel. And then let's get going. So tonight we're doing how to train someone to replace you. So I'm going to open this week's show up by doing kind of a recap of last week, because after all, it is a two-parter. So last week was how to find someone that can replace you. So real quick recap. The first point I made in last week's show is that in order to find more people, or to find better people, good people, period, you kind of have to change your behaviors, right? We're so used to bitching and complaining that there's no one good to hire, that all it does is create a conversation around us that kind of manifests that, makes that come true. Instead, you need to change the conversation to where it's going to move the listener, the person you're talking to give you a name of somebody else that would be good working for you, and then go get their phone number, right? Ask for that phone number. Then turn around the next day, text that person so you can set up an interview with that person at a local coffee shop. Okay. Second point I made last week was the interview and how important that is. Okay. The crazy fun fact of the week was that the number of people that bang their head against the wall, that can't hire anybody good, that don't do interviews, I still can't comprehend it. Okay. Do interviews at a coffee shop if you don't have an office, like a warehouse office. Okay. So in the interview, you want to focus on getting an accurate interview, not a good interview. Those are two very different things you need to delineate there. Okay. You can sit in an interview and do a good job talking to the applicant and turn that into a good interview. That's not the job here. Okay. You want to get an accurate interview by having them tell you stories about a time they did something that aligns to your company's core values or your personal core values. An example would be, tell me a story about a customer that was very needy. You're going to have the full story come out of this person, and you're going to be able to extrapolate out whether they like to make customers happy or if they're just there for a paycheck. Okay. Then as we go through the interview and we like them, we switch the interview around and we actually start talking more than we're listening, telling our stories to get them to want to work with us. Essentially, we're recruiting them. We do not hire on the spot because that makes us look desperate. We tell them we'll be in touch by a specific day. Boom. We now have found an employee to train and get that person ready to replace us in some area of the business. And maybe, just maybe, they're the future manager or the future CEO that can fully replace you so you can drink on the beach and make money. Okay, so now for tonight's topic, how do we train them to replace us once we have found them? First, I want to start off this whole entire night by explaining the word replace. Okay. So, and this is a fun one too, because it comes with a little activity. So, and this activity I think will bring a lot of value to you and to your company. So I'm low key intrigued to see how many people will actually do it. So what I want you to do tomorrow is you get a blank piece of notebook paper and title it at the top, your company's name, organizational structure. Okay. So the jump off organizational structure. Then what you're going to start doing from there is listing out all the jobs that exist in your company. Okay. I think it's fun to kind of start at the top because it makes you feel fancy. Okay. So you start at the top with president and chairman. Okay. Then you've got CEO, CFO, COO, CMO, right? And then the next tier of people that report to all the C-suite folks is VP of sales, VP of ops, VP of marketing. Okay. Then you've got the sales manager and the ops manager, the warehouse manager, the customer service relations specialist, right? All the way down to the delivery driver and the custodian. Okay. So now you have a list of every single job in your company. Okay. Or every single job you've made up in your company that you see your vision taking it, right? When your company grows. Okay. Next to next to each job, you're going to place the name of the person that does that job. Simple. Now, a lot of you that are on this podcast / live are going to have your name everywhere, right? That's perfect. That's perfect. There's no rights or wrongs here. There's no rights or wrongs. Okay. What I want you to do is just please do me a favor and put a reminder in your phone right now that says do Nick's activity tomorrow, and then make it go off at a time that's relevant to you. 9 a.m., 12 p.m., whatever. I'm interested to see how many people do it. I would literally freak out if you guys send me some pictures. Like, I would absolutely love to see some of them. Okay. So when it comes to that organizational chart and the hiring, okay, obviously my name was next to everything, right? My wife helped a little bit with this and that or the other, but I did everything. Okay. And then I made the decision to start hiring at the cleaner position, right? Because to me, this was the role that was just easiest to hire for. And it was the lowest investment of my personal time. Okay. It's not a customer facing position. So I'm not bettering the business by being out there cleaning a bunch of freaking bounce houses. And it's not very difficult to do other than rolling them, but I can teach that, right? So once I hired the cleaner, right, which was my next door neighbor, he was a 15-year-old Dominic. So shout out to Dom, who's now freaking almost about to graduate. But so Dom starts cleaning everything, right? And it freed me up to go do my CEO job and my CFO job and my CMO job and my delivery driver job and all the other things that have my name next to it, I could go do. But kind of the thing I want to focus on there is once I hired that entry level position, or that position that was not very, that didn't invest in the growth of the company really. Once I hired that, I could then go do cool stuff like make koozies and magnets and kind of slow down and think about things and have a vision for the company versus just balls to the wall at all times, right? So then next thing I did was I hired a delivery driver. Okay. And this was we had one truck and one trailer. It was actually a Jeep, but, and so we split the workload, right? So I'd go drop off some and he'd go drop off some. So that would cost me money in payroll, but it would give me more time to go work on other areas of the company. And just full disclosure on this, for a multitude of reasons, but I fucked that one up. Okay. We won't go into those reasons right now. You guys can ask about them later if you want to, but basically by late summer 2020, I was back to working all alone, other than Dominic was still cleaning everything, right? So I'm back to one-man show basically. As I kind of reflected, right, when you're running, I mean, there was days I'd pick up 15 units by myself, you know what I mean? Pushing manually, by the way. I did not have a motorized dolly at the time. I didn't even know they existed. But you're driving around so much, picking up so many units, doing so much stuff, you know, that you have a lot of time to reflect and think. And so I just kind of it dawned on me, I really needed to change the strategy of how I structured the business from going from looking for that expensive, established professional free agent to building through the farm system. Okay. It's much easier to hire somebody at a lower level, right? And this can often be either a younger person or just a less experienced person. Okay, so you hire at that lower level and then train them up. And as they grow, you're going to give them more responsibility versus bringing in the more expensive person that's more established. Maybe they're older, they have their own truck, their own trailer, whatever, right? And trying to get them to fit the culture of your company, to adjust their bad habits and to try and kind of fit them into your system, to shoehorn them into your system. It's so much easier, you know what I mean, to hire a 17-year-old, stick him in your truck, train him thoroughly, and get him ready to go. Because the only things they know are the things that you're bringing to the table, the knowledge you're bringing to the table. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean if you have the shot to bring in the free agent, and it looks like things are going to align correctly, do it. Like, you don't get that shot very often. Just remember, it's not the answer every time, or it's not the person you need to be out there recruiting and trying to bring in at all times. Okay. It is the right answer when those stars align, but there's a lot of stars that have to align to make it make sense. Okay. Now, as you begin to build your people from the ground up using the farm system, a super cool thing is going to start to happen. You're going to realize how much you actually know about running your business. And aside from feeling like a badass, which you probably will, and listen, good for you. You know, you should, because you are, like, you're a badass, like, you do everything. It's pretty impressive, right? But you'll actually start to develop a training process. Believe it or not, that little bit right there is actually how my entire YouTube channel really was born, right? I had the dream of doing it, but that piece right there, right? Training my second once I started rebuilding the company, training my second person is what really sparked the YouTube channel, because I kind of started to have that epiphany, right? Like, oh my God, I know this way better than I thought. So as you kind of go through that epiphany, my suggestion is to record the whole training process that you're going through with your first guy or gal in your computer on a Word document from the very beginning. As you get better at training, your list is going to get a little more robust and a lot more focused. And you'll have the beginnings of what will eventually become the training manual. And you'll be, or the training regimen, right? So when you're done training your first employee and they're doing great, and you hire your second employee, boom, you can hand some of the training regimen over to first employee so they can start training second employee for you / with you, right? Really get some ownership going in the company. Now, after hearing all of that, I hope you feel all, motivated and tingly inside, because hopefully hiring someone now feels a little lighter and simpler, not as daunting and tiring, right? It's something that just wears people out. And I get more, I don't want to say feedback, but I get more negative comments about that portion of business than anything else. I get lots of questions about business. That's the one that I get the most stress behind the questions, for sure. Okay. I'm here to tell you, you can do it. You will do it. And I'm 100% here to help. Okay. Now, at the end here, like, I'm almost done, but at the end of my little rant here, you guys, all questions are welcomed. So you can put them in the chats on Facebook and Zoom right now. And I'll answer every single one by tomorrow, I promise. Or you can always unmute and we can have a good conversation. So before we get to that, I want to touch on, if you're interested in replacing yourself at a higher level, okay? If you want to replace yourself in a whole lot of positions, or you want to replace yourself, quote unquote, completely, to where it's a passive thing, okay? Before we get to that, I want to make a couple quick points, all right? 3 quick points. And these points are something that kind of can confuse a lot of newer leaders and newer entrepreneurs, okay? So the first one is the most major one. That's why it's number 1. No matter how amazing the person you hire is, that the best they're ever going to do is 80% of whatever your 100% is, okay? To say that differently is, no matter how amazing you are and how amazing there are, there's always going to be a 20% gap in between their best and your best. The reason that exists is simple. You're the owner of the business. You care the most. You want the success the most. You get the most accolades. You get, right? It's your business. If you want them to get to your 100%, you want them to get that next 20% of the gap, there's only one way to do it. That's to give them 50% of your company. And I don't think you're getting them there anyway, right? You're the badass that created something from nothing. You then gave it a name, and now people pay you for use of service that name brings. Only a crazy person would do that, okay? Only a highly talented person would be able to pull that off. So the gal or guy that you got to give 50% of your business to get to work as hard as you probably doesn't have the drive of the crazy person that built something from nothing. So to say all that, I just don't think you're ever getting there, right? You've got to be comfortable with getting 80% to your 100%, okay? The second thing you need to recognize here is that it's highly likely, no matter who you just hired, you probably didn't hire your total replacement, right? You did not hire the future CEO. To say it differently, you probably didn't hire someone that can give you 80% of your 100. Okay, their capacity probably isn't 80%. They're going to have a lid on their leadership ability, and it's going to cap them at 71 or 54, 33%. You'll know soon enough as you work with them. So just listen to your gut. Okay. But the chances are you didn't even hire somebody that can get to 80. Okay. Third point here, that's totally okay. That's totally okay. Because you only need one CEO. And for the time being, you're planning on being it, right? Don't work to make everyone the CEO. Work to place everybody in a spot that they can have wild success at. Some people just want to be an amazing delivery driver, okay? They just want to afford Xbox Live and Call of Duty. That's perfect because you need multiple delivery drivers. And if you can have some tenure in that position, you know what you can do? Make that person your trainer of drivers going forward, and they can remain a driver for a long period of time. So there we go. That's how you set up training within the company so you can start replacing yourself on that organizational structure, on my little activity, okay? If you're going to recruit well, interview accurately, and train properly, okay? Recruit well, yet last week's episode. Interview accurately, also last week's episode. And train properly, this week's episode. You're going to start replacing your name on that list with other people, turning your micro little teeny tiny business from a job that you have to go do, right? You started a company, or did you start a job? Well, in the beginning, you pretty much always start a job, right? But then we can go turn it into a company. All right. Now, if you really, really, really do want to go that extra mile and hire that amazing person that can take over everything and make your business passive and step away, how do we do that? Right. And this is something that I think about a lot because we live in the New Orleans area, right? We live in Louisiana, but we're not from here. I'm from Utah. My wife's from California. Both our kids were born here, but we're going to end up in California at some point in time, right? It's just inevitable, right? It's just inevitability, and I've accepted that, okay? And I know California is what it is, and it also is what it is. But, you know, I like to, I'm not a planner, so I'm not going to say I'm a planner, but I have vision, right? I have vision. So I am the CEO. So I started the conversation with Michelle, my wife, about what the hell do we do when we move, right? Even though it's a decade plus away. She says, well, we're going to pack up all the slides and drive them across the country and we'll open the jump off over. And I was like, no. Jump off is never leaving St. Tammany Parish in Louisiana. It's established here. I know what to expect. I know exactly everything here, right? So I will be in the process, low key. I'm kind of always in the process of looking for my ultimate replacement so I can run the business from California, so to speak, right? Or maybe it's going to be Texas, or maybe we're going to move to Florida. Like, who the hell knows? Okay. But how do we do that? Okay. So this is something that's kind of going to be all hypothetical, right? Obviously, I haven't done this to the nth degree I'm talking about. I've dabbled at this a little bit in my corporate past, but what we're going to do is a mixture about what we've already just discussed. Okay. But we got to scale it up. Okay. We have to elevate it. So you can start to see, like, you need to figure out if you hired a C-suite level talent, right? So what are you going to look for? They finish the cleaning early and do it better than you ever did, right? They load the trailer faster than you. They climb the roof. Right now, I'm talking about my Christmas light business, but they climb the roofs better than you, or faster than you. Their legs aren't sore the next day. The equipment is put back cleaner than if you did it, and faster, right? Everything's more efficient magically. The customers don't talk to you anymore because they want to talk to that person. The employees in your business have stopped asking you questions because they are already answering them all. They're going out of their way to create coaching, teaching moments. They add a whole entire page to the training regiment by themselves because they felt it was missing, right? See the pattern here. You, my friend, have hired a leader, not a worker. And when it happens, you'll know, because it's exactly like being in love. You just know when you know, right? You'll know when it's real, and you won't have to ask your mentor, and you won't have to, contemplate on it. You'll just know, okay? How will you know? You'll get super freaked out one day when you imagine your life without them, like an imaginary world, and you imagine your life without them, okay? You'll have a daydream of them quitting, and you're just going to cause a panic attack immediately. You'll miss them when you're working up at the shop and they're not there, okay? What the hell do you do with that person? Well, the only thing you can do there is be a stronger leader. That's it. Like, sorry, not a stronger leader than them. That is implied, okay? You have to step up your leadership. You have to become a stronger leader than you currently are now, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to give them responsibility. They're going to have it running smoother than you did in 2 weeks anyways, so just keep giving them more. The reason that they can run something smoother than you ever did is because they're doing less than you are ever doing, right? When you are doing everything, you're doing everything. So you do everything to the 100% of your ability, but you purposely cut corners in areas just because you just can't be excellent in every CFO, CMO, right? You give them more responsibility. You may have doubled their pie, but you have like 500 pies, okay? So they're going to start doing things better than you did. You're going to have to swallow your pride or your ego, that's the right word, your ego, and let them run with it. Like, you're just going to have to let them run with it, okay? As they are accomplishing all of those things, compensation also has to be brought up here, okay? Does it have to jump huge? No. Remember, they're still working within your company. Like, you created something from nothing. They've improved the something after it was already generated in the world, right? It's already generating revenue. So you're the owner. You can do whatever you want with your money. My suggestion is don't go nuts here, okay? But you do need to use your entrepreneur intuition. Should you switch them to salary? Should you bump them, way the hell up to $30 an hour? Should you give them ownership stake in your company, what's called sweat equity? The answer to those questions is yes. Now, which one is yes? I don't know, but the answer is yes, okay? You need to hang on to them like you hang on to your significant other, okay? Back in the day, for Christmas, Michelle used to get a $400 Michael Kors purse, and the $100 matching wallet, and I thought I was a baller, right? Now she's got Louis Vuitton with a matching wallet, and then another thing called a crossbody that's like a wallet with a rope on it. I don't know. But the cost of those things is all 6x what the crappy Michael Kors stuff was worth back in the day, right? As your company grows, you have more capital to invest in somebody. And as the relationship grows, they're more worth investing in, okay? In the beginning, an extra $1 an hour is probably cool, okay? As they continue to crush it and make your life easy, that's how I always word it with them is are you making my life easy? Yes, you went out there and delivered 6 bounce houses today. However, you called me 7 times got lost twice, and forgot a blower. Like, at no point in time was my life easier today than if I would have just gone and done it myself. Yes, I got to stay at the office, or yes, I got to stay at the house and cook pancakes or whatever the fuck I was doing, but my life was not any easier. I just was so frustrated. I wish I would have done it myself. Okay. But in the beginning, if they're making your life easier, cool. $1 an hour might be cool. They continue to make your life easier. Maybe you pump it another $3, or maybe you have some sort of commission that comes into play. Maybe it's vesting shares in the company that pay dividends at the end of the year. The possibilities are endless. Okay. But you need to make sure that the compensation fits for better and for worse, right? Don't overpay them, but definitely don't underpay them. Actually, I take that back. Do overpay them. Do overpay them, right? But don't underpay them. Don't go crazy, okay? As they continue to learn and grow and show promise that they're going to be able to fill your shoes, now is when some fun stuff starts to happen, which can be scary to invest in, but you have them start shadowing you on all of the hard stuff, right? They think that this is easy, okay? And they're actually, and I hate to break this to you, they're at this point already talking to their friends about leaving and starting their own business because they think it's so easy, right? Really, you're like the dome. Like you protect them and they play in your little dome and they get to go run around in your little dome and do things. If you open the dome, they would break their mind, okay? They know next to nothing about the whole entire organization, okay? Now is when you begin to start to open the dome just a little bit so they can start to see what goes on, whether that's the tough phone conversations or even better, the tough one-on-one conversations with other employees, how you pay taxes, the cost of payroll, workers' comp, right? How much every week payroll is X, right? But then you have to pay their taxes, basically half their taxes, and workers' comp, right? What your insurance premiums are, when they renew, conversations with your accountant on this, that, and the other. When you start doing that, you start doing two things, okay? Number one, you're showing them that despite that everything they do, which by the way, they think they run the whole company, you're doing way, 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 way more and way, way, way harder stuff. Like you're playing the game on legendary and they're like on medium mode, okay? Number two, you're seeing if they have the tenacity, if they have the stomach to take on that C-suite role, okay? Now, if they respond well to this, then you, my friend, may have found your future CEO. So you, at that point, you can get them doing everything with you. And dear God, take care of them the absolute best way that you can, because if you ever do lose that person, which I have in my corporate life, lost that person multiple times, it guts you instantly. Like it's the most gut-wrenching thing ever, right? How do you take care of them from this point forward? Get them a company credit card with their name on it. Get them a fancy title and get them some stupid business cards printed, right? That they're never going to hand out to anybody but their buddies at the party, okay? Let them drive the company truck. Like get them a company vehicle that they can just drive all the time, right? Give them opportunities to run half of your monthly meetings. Other little things like that can help kind of make them the mini you. So one day they can be the real you. And then guess what? They'll probably end up being larger than you. All right, there we go. So that is training someone to replace you. Now, I am very intrigued about, and at this point, we can open it up to questions, discussions, whatever you guys got. I'll go back through and read the chats here. That it looked like Facebook chat was a little bit active there. But I'm very intrigued to see. Please DM me pictures of your organizational, what did I call that? Organizational structure tomorrow. I really want to see those. They're super cool.
So what is your name as like the head of the company? Because you can put whatever you want.
I stick with CEO because historically CEOs have been talked about like they're the ones with the vision, right? They take the company to new places and new this, that, whatever. They got the vision. So that's what I've always stuck to. Like president, that always felt like I got to make tough decisions and like I just kind of swoop in. Like CEO, like you know, you can still get your hands dirty.
So these titles don't really mean anything. It's just your official title on paperwork, and the responsibilities always go to them. So like Elon Musk was I forgot what he wrote was his, but he was explaining like you could basically write whatever on there. So I'm the master of ceremonies.
Master of ceremonies for the company.
Yes.
That's awesome. The MC. This is my little. Oh, are you on camera? No, you're not on camera. You want to wave hi to people? No. She got workout clothes. She's all hype, so she's got on her workout clothes. There we go. Can you see him? Stand on your tippy toes. Ooh.
I can't see because the words are there.
You're up here.
Hi.
Hi. All right. You good? All right. I love you. All right. We got some questions. Facebook's got some questions. Let's go check it out. This is a long one. Hold on, I'm reading it. Okay, so basically, this is Zachary Anderson, and I think Zach asked, can you see my comment? Yes, Zach, I can see it. So he said that he started out with 2 summers ago, 3 slides, and now it's up to 16 units total. And he's reinvesting in it as much as possible and really hustling as hard as he could. And can I explain how I blew up so fast and big? Oh, and he's right by me. He's in Gulfport. Yeah, you're right by me, dude. Yeah. So basically, I had a couple lucky things that helped me blow up so big. So number one was COVID. Like, let's just call a spade for a spade. I'd started the company in 2019. I'd hit what I call the bounce house lottery. So I bought 9 bounce houses and an enclosed trailer for $2,000. And so that way, when COVID hit, right, and we were like super dinky, so that took me to 12 units and a very goofy inventory, like not well thought out at all, right? Because I bought them all in bulk, but that meant once COVID hit, that the world shut down and the bounce house backyard rental bounce houses, or at least around me, went fucking insane. I rented out my entire inventory. I didn't have 12 blowers at the time. I had 9 blowers, so I rented out my entire inventory that I could blow up, which was, I believe was 9 in one day, off the back of a viral Facebook marketplace post. That was almost 3 years ago. So that was, it was late March 2020. From that point forward, like that kind of got me over the hump, right? When you start the business, it's hard to get the clients. Once you're getting clients, and they were flooding at me, like I was booked out, like I couldn't buy enough inflatables because there was none to buy. Like, we were booked out completely solid, everything I had every single week. So that kind of took care of my client problem. So then I could focus on growing the company from a market share standpoint, doing as much freaking marketing as I could to, no, I'm going to use a different word, not marketing. I did as much as I could to try and get the people, the clients to remember who the fuck I was. That's what I did. Okay. Made magnets. I made flyers, magnets for the car, for the Jeep. You know what I mean? I made these shirts. This isn't one of the OG shirts, but, you know, cotton shirts to wear. Like, I did everything I could to make sure that people that rented from me would remember me post COVID, right? Because we knew it wasn't going to last forever. So that really gave me like instantaneous traction, where that was luck, good timing, whatever you want to call that. From there, I just ran it like a good ass business. I'm not gonna, yeah. A lot of bounce house companies are run like very sloppily. They're run very sloppily with a haphazard manner. And I ran mine like a legit ass company. Like, I was traded on the freaking New York Stock Exchange. You know what I mean? And so that level of professionalism in everything that I did and making good decisions just caused us to grow super fast, right? And then the next thing I did that was I was fortunate enough was my wife is an amazing recruiter. So she does a much better job recruiting than me. So she's filtering me. I'm getting interviews from my wife like crazy because she owns a hair salon. So she's talking to all the moms and the aunts and the grandmas, whatever, you know what I mean? And I did a good job hiring the right people. I've only made one hiring mistake since my original fuck up in 2020. I've only made one hiring mistake. And he got fired and built the culture that I have now. And that's, yeah. So that's it. So COVID, then did everything I could to make sure people remembered me, ran it like a real business. knew how to build strong teams, and did so with as much vigor as I could.
I got a hiring tip and a little story I'd like to share.
Yeah, let's go.
I literally live like right on the edge of the city, like on the city line, right where it gets into the suburbs. But Buffalo is just one big city and suburbs area and whatnot. I live smack dab in the middle, right on the edge of the hood. And I did one Facebook post, one, in the local community that I am from, and in a group of like, it's like 3,000 people, 4,000 people. And I had everybody's mother, and I still have people hitting me up to this day off this one post from last year.
That's badass.
And I got all my guys from last year from it, just off one Facebook post in a local Facebook group in the area, because basically everybody drives right past my warehouse and sees all the bounce houses blown up. And this was awesome. So like, one, that's lucky. That's just one thing going to it. But I can go into more detail about this, because now all the people that were hitting me up were within walking distance of the shop. So there's so much benefits of that. It was awesome. One, if you were late, like you couldn't even just walk here, you couldn't get a ride or anything like that, or I could just pick you up on the way out or something like that. You know what I mean? If the truck wasn't loaded, or just pick you up in the morning if you gave me enough time, because it's literally right around the corner. Or somebody else will grab you because you pick somebody, you know what I mean? Have somebody else, because I'm not everybody's taxi. But then what else it did is, when I needed a last minute person, everybody was right here too. So it's like, it wasn't that much time. A lot of people just hop in the truck. Bunch of money hungry kids in the area. They all wanted a job. I just basically treated it like the union, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, you're on call. I have it as like you're on a list. You know what I mean? And it's not as formal, and there's no contracts as much. So it's like, you're on my shit list, and I just won't call you as much. You know what I mean? If you end up, you know what I mean? Like, you're not really doing, you're not like showing up or anything, but then I let people work their way up the list and to those positions, and the people that answer the freaking calls, because it gets crazy, and I'm building it right now. So it's not, the hours are never structured right, because I'm still building it, but I have it steady now, right? You know what I mean? I know what all their hours are and all the people. So I only have to treat like a few people like that, like the bottom of the line where it's like rotating, where there's a list, because now I've already weeded out all the people with that list. Now I got the people that are always in there. There's even more crazy stuff to it too. Like I'm thinking about possibly even hiring union labor at one point for some of the stuff that I do, or like a separate part of my company that just does the tents through union labor. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a in-depth conversation. I think some of that is super interesting and a lot of good potential there. If you can harness the platforms, you know what I mean? If you can harness go ahead.
Well, if you just think about it, because it's like, it's not as crazy of a stretch as you think. It's just owning the equipment and knowing how to do the contracts and what you're doing. Because what's the difference between a company that does pipe and drape and somebody that does a trade show?
Right. That's true.
You're just owning the equipment, and now you don't even need any employees. You just need to write a contract, and you have the union do everything, and they already know what they're doing with all that equipment. So it's
it's
you just had your head leads, which is if you know anything, like a lot of people know about concerts. So if you heard the term stagehand, so like, and then roadie. Well, a roadie is a person that goes with the show and tells everything that what's doing. When you have a person that goes and does a festival, sometimes you use volunteers. That person that you're sending that's representing your company is just doing the same exact thing as a roadie would at a concert. Your person is delegating to a bunch of other people, and that they're the ones setting all the stuff up. So right. It's the exact same thing that happens in the union. So the scalability of this is really It's there. People just don't think about it, but that's like the next level when it comes to this stuff. And a lot of these people, when you start hiring unions for certain stuff, like they're already trained in a lot of this different stuff, especially tents. Like they set up full clamshell tents around here in my area. It's like if I owned a clamshell tent and I could rent it out, I could literally just hire the union to do it. There's a whole pay rate scale and everything. And
Dang.
yeah,
That's cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I got asked. We were doing Christmas lights. We were doing a big job. I think it was the biggest job we did the entire year. And she'd asked me if I sub out anything. Like, I mean, we were already on the job, right? We were already doing everything. She rolled up, and I walked over, and she's like, and she was amazing, right? She bought us all lunch. She was super cool. But she was like, do you sub anything out? Or are they all your in-house employees? I'm like, oh no, man, these are all in-house employees. Like, not that I'm anti-sub workout, but I just am such a people person. Like, I need to, like, I am not a control freak. Okay. And this may paint me in that way, and I'm not one. I'm such a people person. Like, I want to have interaction with the people. And let's see, how do I say this right? I want to build, right? So you go sub something out. It's like you sub out a job, and then it's done by them, and then like you pay them, and you're done here. And hopefully they did a good job, and like hope you vetted them, and right, all that stuff. If you hire them within the company, like you get to work with them and build them up and help them grow and give them leaders. Like, that's what I mean when I say I'm just such a people person that I wouldn't sub anything out. At my current businesses, I wouldn't sub anything out. All right, we did have a couple of questions, not related to hiring, but I think they're very good questions. So let's see. Let's start with and this is from Instagram. So shout out to you, Instagram. So we got 7 people watching. That's good. That's good for Instagram. This is from somebody called Full Bricked. They asked, is it worth it to run a company with just one rental to start out? The answer to that question is no, it is not. Now, it can be done. It can be done. The reason, though, that the answer is no is because one bounce house, right? Let's say you bought it new. Let's just say it cost you $2,000, right? It's a regular bounce house, 12 by 12 or something. You spend $2,000 on that, and you want to start renting it out. Well, your insurance is going to cost you $4,000, roughly, depending on what state you're in, per year, right? $4,000 per year. So the amount of times you have to rent this bounce house, that's probably best case scenario going out for what, $150, unless you're way up north, then maybe 200. But it's a bounce house. It's just not going to bring in a ton of revenue. The likelihood that you recoup just your insurance cost is low. Okay. Now, that scares people, and it should. This is a real industry. This is a real business. You can't just walk in and start a business with $2,000 in any world. Okay. That's just not how it works. Cost of doing business is more than that. So my suggestion, buy at least 3. Okay. My suggestion is, and this could change depending on your market, but this is the vast good majority of advice. Buy wet dry combos. Then you can get rolling, because your $4,000, right? And insurance still costs $4,000. Your $4,000 is much easier recouped with that level of inventory and that selection of inventory than it is with one bounce house. Okay. You're going to pay $4,000 a year until you're making roughly $50,000 a year on rentals, just for example. And then the second part of the question was, does small selection scare away clients? I'm sure it does. The answer to that is probably yes and probably no. Like, there's definitely clients out there that don't give a rip. There's definitely clients out there that do, right? There's no schools that are renting from you. There's no schools going to your website with one bounce house on it and renting it from you. Sorry, not happening. But that's okay. Go ahead.
There's ways around that too.
There is.
I personally think, and this is like another party rental knowledge hack here, but like straight up, you just things that are like highly ranked SEO items, especially in your area that you might not know. Like, say you don't own a dunk tank, just put a dunk tank on your site like you're gonna buy one later, have it on there, but it's always booked out. It's rented for the season. And then this way, you'll know how many times people try to go to it. So if you should actually buy it, but you'll also get all the SEO opportunities. You're going to piss people off and have to hear things about trying to rent a dunk tank that you don't have. But it is a way to boost your site a little bit up and make it look bigger. Another way to make your site look bigger is if you buy a basic bounce house, you should not fill your site with a bunch. Like, don't buy a bunch of basic bounce houses, but get at least one, and then you get a few banners, and now your site looks like it's got 20 bounce houses, even though you have, like, you know what I mean? You only have one bounce house and 19 banners. So that's a way to like make your site look bigger, a little bit cheaper when you're starting. That's one of the ways I did it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely all good little tricks. As long as you're serious about scaling it, you know what I mean? And they replied on there and said that they've already bought another one, so that's awesome.
Hey, I was gonna say I did the exact same thing with obstacle courses. We had some Facebook communities that were looking to do like HOA groups. And they were like, hey, we're looking for, companies with obstacle courses. And we didn't have any at the time. We knew we wanted them. And we put it on our site. We always had it booked out and until we was able to actually get one. And now we have like 2 or 3 HOA events coming up, like for spring break. So it kind of it can work. Fake it till you make it, I guess.
Yes. And I think, in my opinion, it's not like some crazy black hat way to go, right? It's not shady as long as you are going to be buying an obstacle course, right? Soonish, like no big deal. Like the dunk tank thing, low-key, I wrote down on my to-do list to do that because I'm going to be buying a dunk tank soon. I may as well just get it up there now so the schools and the churches and whatever can see it, like, right? But I'm going to buy one soon, so. Let's see. Okay, I got another question, which was actually I'm gonna kind of stay over here on Instagram because I'm really super stoked about the engagement over here. Mind 1050 asked, "What's your favorite thing about Event Hawk that really help your business other than the normal setup?" Don't know what you mean by that, but there's a lot of things I really like about it. For me, I think what I'm gonna say is the fact that the number of people that go to the website that fill out the coupon, right? They click the pop-up and fill out the coupon thing and then just leave, that then get auto-texted by EventHawk's system saying they're us, right? And ask the date of the party. So then the only thing you see is the reply of the date of the party, right? I mean, we got 4 of them today, right? March 3rd, blah, 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 whatever. It's just crazy. I'm like, man, the number of people that went there with intention to shop, didn't buy anything, right? And maybe their intention to shop was low, by the way. Didn't rent anything, but did fill out the coupon thing that we then started a conversation with, that we then turned around and booked. That right there blew my mind really fast. And the number of bookings that we were getting from it, right? I mean, I don't remember what it all costs. I think it's $97 a month. Actually, if you use my link, if you use my affiliate link with them, I think it's $97 a month for that one thing. I was making way more than $97 a month. That, and then the other thing that's pretty super awesome is there's another piece that auto texts out on Tuesday asking for a Google review. There's lots of chatter about what day is the best and how's the best way to do it. The best way to do it is you don't have to do anything, and freaking EventHawk just sends out the thing automatically, and then you get a whole bunch. I got 3 last week. Both of those things are awesome. The Google one is second because I like to make money more. But yeah, if you use my link, I'll put it in. Yeah, that was the question, was in Instagram, so I'll put it in here. You get a better deal. I'll put the link over on Facebook here in just a second too. I'm solo. I'm flying solo. I'm a one-man band. Okay. Okay, let's see. Bam. Did it go? Oh shit, I don't think it went. Nope. Let me try that again. There we go. Okay, got it. Anybody on Zoom want it? I'll give it to you guys too. You fill out this thing, you may get a text from me. If you reply to it, you really do actually get a text back from me. It's Mimi. texting back on the, not the auto text, but okay, there we go. So, over on Facebook, Edgar Pereira asked for kind of a explanation basically of the damage waiver. So the damage waiver to me, I'll explain it in a little more in depth and detail, but realistically, the way I look at it is it's almost like tips for the company that don't go to the guys, right? Like it basically crowdsources revenue. So if there is a damage, the crowd has paid for the damage, right? And he also said he's worried about it being a get out of jail free card. It's not a get out of jail free card because it costs money. So the only people that are going to be buying it is people that can afford it, and they're generally speaking more respectful to your units than anything else. Okay. So now, for those of you that don't know what the damage waiver is, so basically it's like the extra insurance that the rental car companies offer you. Okay. So, and I have one on my site. Mine's 7%. I'm in Louisiana, right? So I went a little lower than 10. I like 7, whatever. I like odd numbers. So basically, as they're checking out, I forgot exactly how I've worded it. I've changed it multiple times, but there's a little checkbox that says, do you want to get the extra damage waiver that covers in case of puncture or something like that? I don't remember exactly what mine says. So they click that box. It adds 7% no matter what, right? So if there's a delivery fee that's factored in, that 7% goes up based on every single thing they have in their every line item they have on their bill. They pay 7%. Like, so, I mean, I have some of those that are $80. Like you go to a school event where they rented 2 obstacle courses, like that damage waiver is a lot of money. And basically what it does, it then covers them for if they damage the inflatable, that they're not liable to pay the replacement fee. You want to have some wording in your contract. You may or may not want to have some wording in your contract of what it does and does not cover. Mine covers pretty much everything. I don't think I have anything nullified except silly string. If you get silly string on it, like you're the idiot that got silly string on it, like you're paying. But other than that, like it covers everything, right? So if 4th of July and a firework burns a small hole in it, they pay the damage waiver, we're good. We'll patch the hole. They don't have to worry about anything, right? And it generates more revenue than you would think. I don't remember. I know I've looked it up before.
So I like the way I like to think about this whole situation too is like a lot of people, and I really wanted like I really feel like we were part of the cause of the whole, like some of the pompous activity and some like attitudes of some people, like, oh, charge your worth, know your worth. But I really want to like, you really should charge your worth and know your worth. And that's because the industry was going down in pricing. And like, it's suddenly now it's starting to pick back up. But the real crazy thing is when you're pricing and you don't want to charge these things. They're mainly there to scare your customers. Don't actually charge them this $50 cleaning fee. Have that there to scare them, but that's not, you don't want to charge that. And I'm going to explain to you why. If you charge this $50 cleaning fee, and they have 5 kids, 6 kids, and it got really muddy, you know what I mean? Well, they're going to have 6 birthdays a year. So you're going to ruin, like the next rental, it would literally cover that $50 that you're trying to get out of them. And that's just this year. If you get another rental with that family, which you should be getting. And then you have the next year and the years going forward. Like, what is your lifetime value of a customer? Are you going to ruin it over $50? And that goes in the same thing when you start talking about cleaning units on site. So I don't deep clean units at a customer's house, and I don't clean units when I'm picking up a unit. I clean it. I just make sure it's good, and then I just wipe it down when I'm setting it up, because then the customer sees that I'm cleaning it before them, and it wasn't that bad. I'm not pulling jackets and shoes out or toys. So this way, there's no you're not, a customer will feel if you're cleaning out their unit when you're picking it up, they're not going to order from you again because they feel like they were dirty for some reason. Like same thing with a tent. You don't pick up a tent the next day after you, like, you know what I mean, a party right in the early in the morning, because you never gave them time to clean up, and they bought it to party. They're never going to be able to clean it up the next morning to go be able to flip it. That's why you don't flip tents that often if they got to go the next day, because it's just going to be a crazy mess picking it up and cleaning it up or anything like that. Don't make your customers feel bad, like just by the time you show up, let alone trying to charge them little petty fees. That damage waiver can seriously add up. Like my first year, my damage waiver was over freaking 10 grand. So
yeah, I was just looking for mine. I couldn't find mine. I don't remember where it's at in the inflatable office. I couldn't find it in a pinch, but those are all freaking great points. Like all those things are there to be a deterrent, not to actually make more money off a cleaning fee. Not saying there's not some crazy outstanding event that happened, right? Everybody's going to come on here and back. No, this one time, right? We know there was this one time.
You get that $50 and you charge them so they don't hit you back up pretty much. You get more than $50 if you can.
If you're cleaning your units as you claim you're cleaning your units, then you won't be charging $50. Now, I've charged it before. I found cake in my units. I found a bunch of food in my units. I'm charging you $50. That just proves that you've been careless and allowed your kid to do whatever the hell they want. Mud and dirt, definitely not.
Yeah, and that's right, and that's your prerogative. That's what I love about entrepreneurship so much, is you get to do whatever you want to do, because whatever you want to do is right for you, and I love that. I love it. Over here on Facebook, Brian Streeter, what's up, Brian? Said, thoughts on delivery fees by distance versus just upping the price of units and maybe small setup fee. Have you tried both ways? Competition around me seems to have a mix. That's interesting. No, delivery fee by mileage is the best way to go, in my opinion, because it's, I don't want to use the word fair because that's not right, but it's based on mileage. Like somebody further away has to pay more money than somebody closer. Now, depending on how you want to run it. So I have a free delivery radius. My free delivery radius, I believe, is 12 miles. Once gas prices went back down, I may have upped it back up to 15. I don't remember exactly what it's at. And then after that, it's $4.25 per mile one way. And that is my absolute sweet spot. If gas goes back up to freaking $5 a gallon, yes, the radius will shrink and the dollars per mile will go up. But as it sits right now, I've tried it a trillion different ways, and that is the absolute sweet spot to where the money is correct for that distance, right? It's worth it to us. And then it's also worth it to them. Like it's a value to them. Like it's right. We're not gouging them. It's fair to them. The setup fee is a weird thing to me, because what the fuck? They're going to set it up themselves to avoid that fee? No, like we have to set it up. Like liability, safety, and just the fact that like we have they're not getting, what are they going to put in the back of their minivan? So to me, the setup fee thing is really weird. Unless you're like super hyper competitive area and you're a monster company that's super established, like, right? If you're the best rental company in Los Angeles County or Orange County or something, and you want to have some setup fee, right? Those fucking people are going to pay it because you're the best. That's fine. That's a whole different ball game. Than, right, you got 8 units and you're trying to charge a setup fee. That's just nah. Mileage fee based on mileage is the way to go. Way to go. Do I have a minimum order per distance? Yeah, I do, Derek. I want to say it's 100. I think it's $145 because that's what my bounce houses are. Like, so yeah. So basically you can't rent 6 chairs, like you can't go on the site and rent 6 chairs. You got to go on the site and rent enough stuff to make it worth our while, which is $145.
Hey, the reason I asked that question today, we ran into that situation. So I'm in the Florida area and found somebody that was about 35 miles away. And we have we do flat fees as far as mileage. And so for them, it was going to be 75, but anything over 30 was like a minimum of I think 500. And we lost out on a $325 order, and my wife was kind of pissed, like why the fuck we can't do this? Like, I was like, well, that 35 mile drive is actually an hour, so that's an hour going, an hour coming back, then an hour to pick up, another hour coming back. So I'm losing 4 hours in a day for $75 and fee and delivery fee. So I was like, and so that's why I was wondering if anybody else was doing that, and specifically you. So
a lot of people do. I don't, because the way I've done the math enough times to where does it suck? Sure, right, but the math works out and the profit's good. Right, having my delivery fee the way it's set up, right? Let me caveat that. So like, if it's an hour away for me, right, is a long ass drive because I'm in Louisiana. So you're talking $85, $90 delivery fee. It's like, yep, right. We go. There was one time, I don't remember all of this. It was a long time ago. It was like a holiday or something, like Halloween. I don't remember. And one came through like that, and I had to cancel it. Like, not cancel it, but like I called him. I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, we are way too booked to make this. Maybe they just got a quote and they had called in. Yeah, because I know I've never canceled a rental before. Every rental we've ever had on the books, we have done in the history of the company. So maybe it was just a quote that came through or something. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be a delivery fee of like 200. And they're like, yeah, that's good. And then I went and looked at it. I'm like, it's just not logistically possible. Like, I can't get there. Like, I don't have enough human beings. I don't have enough trucks. Like, just not possible. But other than that, like, that's why I have my delivery fee set the way I do, because for my area, it makes everything, no matter what, it makes sense for us to go do if they're willing to pay it.
Gotcha.
Hey, Derek.
Okay.
Derek, how do you charge your delivery fee?
So we got a flat fee. So the first 15 miles, I think, we don't charge anything. We consider that local. Then 16 to 25, I think, and then 26 to 35 and 36 to 60, I think is. And then for each one, we have a minimum order. So for our quote unquote free rental would be our free delivery, that would be, I think, 100, which equates for us usually is 4 tables and 24 chairs or something like that. And so we'd do that within, that 15 mile. And then the next tier is our the minimum of our bounce houses, then bounce house or bounce house and combo, and then like bounce house, combo, obstacle, and concessions, I think, for the higher tier. So that's how we kind of figured it out. But we haven't been around long enough to really recognize whether or not that's a good strategy. Like, today was the first time we've quote unquote lost out on an opportunity based on our distance and delivery fees.
Okay, so this is what I did when I contacted the big honchos around my area, and I found out what their delivery fees were and what their minimum is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna name the people that I picked their heads, but there's somebody that I mainly look at, and for him to go to Port St. Lucie, it's a minimum order of $450 plus delivery fee, and he charges by the mileage.
Gotcha.
So this weekend I had a 3-in-1 game that went out, and it went out to a place called Belle Glade. And I don't know if many people are familiar with that area, but absolutely nobody goes there. 1, it's far. 2, it's a high crime area. So nobody goes out there. So I took advantage, and I just hit him with a high $165 delivery fee. And sure enough, they took it. It was a church. They only wanted it from 10 to 1:30. And obviously, like for me, it doesn't make sense especially because my truck sucks at gas. So for me to go out there to drive an hour, to drive back home, to drive back out, it's 3 hours of driving. So I just drove out, set up, I stood behind it with my truck, and I sat there for 4 whatever hours it was. Time came, picked it up, and I left.
Dang.
And the thing is it's a common act what my neighboring companies are doing. So the free delivery, I know a lot of people do it, but out here we don't do it. We have a minimum of $25 delivery fee, no matter how close you are. You can be 2 streets away from me, you're gonna pay 25 bucks. And then based on zip codes or however they want to do it, delivery fee, whatever. You charge, I go based off the area. If the area is a wealthy area, you're getting charged. I have a place here called Singer Island, $1 million homes. You're gonna pay $125 delivery fee. It only takes me 25 minutes to get there, but you're still gonna pay it. And it happens, people pay it. People have no problem nowadays paying delivery fee. They understand that our gas prices are not cheap. So charge them, and don't be afraid to charge people.
No, I mean, I get that. I think so looking at it, I have a spreadsheet, right, with about 10 or 11 competitors in my delivery area. And just being in Florida is just that much competition, right? And so I pay attention to what everyone's doing, and I try to set myself in the middle, kind of higher middle, if you will, of what everyone else is doing, to have my site, my prices, everything set. And so, but for some of it is just honestly like driving that far and again doing like something like what you're doing and sitting there for 4 hours, 6 hours or something like that. It's just not worth it. That like trade at that point, trading time for money, right? And that's what I'm trying to avoid. So that's what kind of got me thinking about how far I should go out and what those distance charges should actually be.
Yeah, just keep playing with it as you get busier, just keep playing with it and you'll see. And where Freddie's at is, big money and big competition. So it's like if quote unquote everybody's charging a delivery fee, like you should charge a delivery fee. Where I'm at, everybody does business the opposite here, right? Everybody does all weekend rentals for the price of a day here, except me. So I don't have that leeway. You know what I mean? If you've got be competitive for your market and match the market, because the market will dictate what your customers are used to paying. And then just keep adjusting. I mean, I started my delivery fee, like I had none. I had no delivery fee because why would I, right? I gave a rip. It was me driving a V6 Jeep Cherokee, tugging the smallest trailer in the world. And I had nothing, like, not that I had nothing better to do, but it's like, whatever the fuck the cost was, like the money was worth it to me because I needed the money. I needed the revenue to grow, so I had no delivery fee. Then once we started getting busier, it's like, okay, I gotta have a delivery fee. The first one I put into inflatable office, I swear to God, was like $1 a mile or $1.25. I don't know, it's so low. You know what I mean? And then a rental came through that was kind of far away, and I was like, ugh, this sucks. So I went up to 2 something. Then I jumped up to 4, and those were coming through, and I was like, oh my God, that's way too high. Because I was losing rentals. I just wasn't, the way I look at it is I wasn't as established of a company at the time. So it went back down, God knows what. And then it's been $4.25 forever. Until gas prices jumped, then it jumped. And then when gas came back down, I brought it back down to $4.25 because it's just the number that I like. And I'm not going to lie, during this whole conversation, I just upped it to $4.50. So it's now officially $4.50 while you were talking there.
Hey, Nick, you mentioned something that caught my attention there for a second. And I don't know if this goes maybe to everybody. like that question, but you said something about like a lot of people do like all weekend rentals and stuff like that. Did that affect you? Like how bad was, like in my area, I don't have that problem. And I'm sorry because I know I'm kind of getting off of subject here from the whole mileage thing. I'm at 350 where I'm at, so I try to keep it at that, just kind of going back to the topic. But does that affect you, or like, I know more companies are going to be coming out. Should I target, or what is it? How does everybody feel about that? I guess that would be kind of like something I wanted to talk to just real quick.
Yeah. So when
Wait,
I
what was the
launched,
question?
That a lot of people, like he mentioned something about like, you know, some people do like all weekend rentals for that one day price. So does it affect your business? And if so, how do you target back to kind of fight that?
yeah.
Education.
So when I launched the jump off, we did all weekend rentals. Why I don't know. Like I know the guy we used to rent from back before we had any units does that. He's right, still does business. Does that. So we would just go drop him off on Friday. I think I did it right because I still had a job where I was working like 70+ hours a week. My wife owned her hair salon, and we go back and pick it up on Sunday. I think we just did it because it's easy, but maybe that's how we thought it was supposed to go. I don't really remember. And then as the company starts to scale, like, so that's what we stayed doing. As the company started to scale a teeny tiny bit, like it just stayed that because we didn't know any better. Like we were almost ignorant to the whole industry, right? Then when COVID hit, that viral marketplace post my wife made, I told her to let's rent for 7 days for the price of 1 day, since all the kids were out of school and people were out of work, whatever. Because she had to close her salon down. And I was like, I want no bounce houses in the garage ever. So we have to get them all rented. So do a whole week, like fuck it, like code red, right? That went viral, right? Everybody took us up on that offer for sure. We did that for about 6, maybe 7 weeks, something like that. And then it just was so hard on the units and on me. Went back down to all weekend, and then that's what it was. And that's what, to my knowledge, everybody always did, right? Once I kind of discovered the rest of the industry and I discovered the Facebook groups and started talking with all of you guys, you know, in some capacity or another online, and realized that like that's not normal. And then I made a friend who's one city over, kind of 2 cities over, Matt at All Star. He was the one that started telling me like hourly rentals, bro, hourly rentals. I was scared shitless to change because I thought nobody would rent from me because everybody around here does all weekend. And but then I started doing the math. I'm like, I don't know how many I could rent multiple times on a weekend, but like this is crazy. That was one of my main motivating factors for getting booking software for inflatable offices, because to track, that's the other thing. It's easy to track freaking Friday to Sunday rentals. But I was like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna be able to track this on my crazy spreadsheet shit that I did.
Did you have issues along the way when that happened, when the customer would be like, hey, you used to do like 7 days straight, and then why are you going and doing it this way, like this now?
A little, yeah. Not
That's
issues,
what I was
but
kind of
I did have
say
people that would
something.
ask for sure, because they'd call me like, hey, I want to know if this slide's available, and I'd be like, and if like, right, and I did all the booking, they had to like text me or go through the Facebook group. So I remember, right, I'm bad with names to faces, but I'm good with names, like if I read them. So like I would know if they'd rented before, and I would be like, yeah, just FYI, like it's just a 3-day rental now, like an all weekend rental. But if you want on Tuesday, you can have it Tuesday to Thursday, whatever. And there wasn't really pushback. There were some people that were bummed, you know what I mean? Oh man, I'm like, yeah, dude, we can't keep doing this forever. But then when I switched from
That's what I try to avoid. I'm careful with all that stuff because the stuff like that, once you do it for one customer or several customers, then it kind of goes along with more and more, and that person told somebody else and somebody else, and then it just becomes chaotic. Right now, I'm switching to picking up our units the next day because it's just killing us picking up same day. And I'm like, I have to make the switch, but then again, I like to hear you guys' side of the story and hear you guys out on some of you guys' struggles.
Yeah, I did the same thing. So once I switched to daily rental or hourly rentals, right? We do 6 hours. Once I switched, like nobody cared. It was bizarre to me. Like there was actually people that were happy. Like, and I was like, okay, like all of my fears have been nullified, right? And then but I'd never ran a business. I'd never ran my business that way. So like just kind of like in my brain, I was like, okay, they rented it from 12 to 4. We had to be there at 4, right? And then it didn't take long to where I was like, oh no, duh, I can do whatever I want. So now we go as far out of our way as we can to leave it the next day. Leave it to the next day. Your circumstances where we break that is 4th of July, Halloween, maybe Mother's Day. We'll see how busy it is. Mother's Day is usually pretty busy, but some of those it's like, nope, we're going to get it that day. Like 4th of July, everything is picked up that night, unless they paid for overnight. So because everything goes back out the next day, you know what I mean? But other than that, like no. And I tell Cassie, like when she's gonna text people their pickup time, their drop off time, and their pickup time, generally speaking on Friday, that if we're leaving overnight and they didn't pay for overnight, I tell her to put in there like, and we're giving you free overnight. Yay, right? People love it.
Yeah, I honestly so I do tents, and I like to do tents on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays before the event. So my parties are on Fridays. I'm setting up on Wednesday and Thursday, and the parties on Saturdays I'm setting up on Thursday or Friday. All the stuff. There's some bounce houses, there's stuff that goes down on Friday, and I'm setting those up like Friday morning and stuff too. Now, I always try and push everywhere on my site to try and get an extra $50 out of everybody by just, hey, you want to do an overnight, pay $50. And if they do, then I made money. If not, most of the times the ones that like I'm not trying to pick up because they're like in the hood or super far away, or I'm just trying to get my guys like some time off. Those ones I just call, hey, you get a free overnight, and then it seems like I'm awesome. And those ones I pick up the next day after I delivered all the other units. So it works out if you do it right. If you're trying to flip, like those are the ones you just go and grab them that night. You're working later because you have to flip that unit. I just try not to do as much flips as possible. Like I don't do it. Like I don't really like to do them as much. Sometimes I'll fit them in there if I know I can fit it in there. Like last minute, somebody asked me, but all flips are done manually. They're not done off the website, letting me flip whatever they decide and put it to the schedule. Those are managed very, very tightly, but leaving units over, I wouldn't feel bad about it too much. Especially like you were saying, like Friday to Sunday, I kind of do that a lot, but what the real key there is only like you want to deliver the far ones on Friday. You want to deliver the ones that like will screw up your delivery schedule or have weird times or something like that. And it's just better off you just delivering it the day before. That's the type of stuff I like to deliver like early for bounce houses. If not, most of it can get squeezed on the 2 trucks in the morning on Saturday, because we're never doing tents the day of. Sometimes we'll do like a longer day on Saturdays and we'll do tents in the afternoon because there's not that many pickups or something from the day before. And like I just try to fill the days with as much stuff as I can. And sometimes sometimes it doesn't get really like overloaded to where we can't handle enough, because it's like I feel like I don't have enough equipment for it to get to that point yet where I've booked too much where I can't actually even handle it or get it done. Because at the point where I feel like I can't get it done, I just start putting that stuff on the day before. So I get as much out as possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So here's how I do. So this was last weekend, right? And so we had a decent weekend for us at this time of year, right? So we had 3 that went out. Okay. We're supposed to have 4, but one guy canceled. So this is Saturday morning. Okay. So Saturday morning, this is what Trevor dropped off. Then this was like at a church, I believe. It was in a gymnasium, I think at a church. So we had to be there at 5 to pick it up, right? So that's the one unit we went and grabbed. Okay. So then go to Sunday. So then this is what Sunday looks like. Okay. So this unit and this unit were both flipped. Okay. So this was what was this unit? That was double lane sports, and this is the princess combo, right? And so I think this is double lane sports, right? Nope, that's Peter Rabbit. There's double lane castle, double lane sports. Okay, so basically Trevor and Josh picked this up, right? We have like spray, like disinfectant spray, right? They wipe it down, they get it looking, as good as you can, roll it, and then go drop off this one, pick up this one, same thing, clean on site. They should have taken the vacuum just in case they needed it, right? And then you drop off the ones you pick up, right? And so then the only issue was Ashley. So she's a regular a customer. I got like very good relationship with her. I just text her. I said, hey, is it cool if the guys get there? We usually run early, but is it cool if the guys get there at 11:45? Because it'll yell at you, right? Because it wants you to get there at 11:30 because the software thinks it takes 30 minutes to set this combo up and the party starts at 12. I said, are you cool if we get there at 11:45? She said, yep, I don't care. So then that's what the whole entire, that's what the weekend looked like. We were supposed to, quote unquote, pick this up at 6 p.m., right? We just wait till the next day. This guy, I think, paid for it. No. This guy rented until 8 p.m. Like, no, I don't have a cutoff time. You can rent it till whatever time you want if you pay for it, because we're probably just coming the next day anyway. I keep all of the stipulations loose in the software because I want less friction. I want more rentals. I'm a freak. I'm opposite of everybody else. I want to flip every unit, right? I got 49 units. I want to flip. I want to rent them all Saturday and I want to rent them all Sunday. We will figure out a way to make it happen. I want all the market share.
But that's so hard, man.
Oh, I love it. We love it. I love it. I love it.
Hard.
Love it.
It burned me out last year for sure. Like that's insane, dude. Like I'm doing 25 to 35 units a weekend and then flip them on Sunday too, or pick them up and then flip them. That's tough, dude. You need a whole team for sure.
Yeah, we flipped this one too. This was Peter Rabbit. That was that indoor one, and that was one of these rentals too. So we flipped 3 units. But the reason I do it is because I'm like, dude, like, and this was a decent weekend for this time of year, right? We beat last year. I don't remember how much money we did. I think it was $1,800 we did last weekend on the rental side. Pretty good. But like, we would have missed out potentially on 3 rentals. Now, would they have rented a different unit if that one's unavailable? Yes, debatable. They may have, right? But I'm just like, why, dude? Like, there's already 3 units out. The guys can wipe them down on site and get them looking, presentable to where they're rentable, and it's something we're proud to go drop off. That's 3 less units we got to clean on, whatever.
Question really quick, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever had any issues though? Because I mean, I'm all for making money too and doing the flips. Trust me, like I'm the type that doesn't back down. Like we're on it all day long, picking up, flipping, and cleaning and all this and that. But I feel like also flipping though, it makes your head spin, because I don't know if you have ever had those customers that lock the back gate, or they go to church, or they have a broken down, beat up vehicle that you can't get to the backyard, or the inflatable has a hole in it. What are some of those issues? Have you ever encountered some of those issues in your area? Or is it just my shitty area that nobody takes care of our inflatable?
That's when you put
I've seen so much shit, dude. Like, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
So the pros that want to flip, they have multiple units, honestly. And that shit can happen to anybody, anytime, all that shit. Everything you mentioned can even happen on the same day.
Working on the multiple units. I've got multiples of 3 different units now, but I keep buying fucking companies out and shit. So it's like I keep getting not the opportunity to do it. But
I keep buying like standalone leisure units that are amazing.
Yeah,
I have multiples too. But they rent
one. I'm so
those are the ones that rent the most.
You got to have a minimum of 3 if you want to flip, right? Because your best unit, you're going to rent 2 of those on Saturday anyways.
Or all 3 of them.
Yeah, right. So I try to and maybe this is just, you know, my area that I'm in, maybe, but I try to be as high communication as possible, right? So
Yeah.
I tell them, like, all those people on that drop schedule, when
Yeah.
on Friday, when Cassie texts them their drop time and their pickup time, she literally texts them the time that's on that drop schedule, the time, like 9:15, 9:45.
Yeah.
No, then would be probably 10. Then would be 10:40. Like, they get the time. They also get the time we're going to be there to pick it up. We're going to be there to pick it up at 8:45 in the morning. If you could blow it up for us before we get there, that would be amazing, right? The next person's 8:30. The next person's whatever. So we give them the exact time. And I know I'm crazy for that too, but
No, we do the same, dude. It works, but the only thing that has worked in my area is kind of, I don't want to say threatening them, but I tell them, hey, if the unit is not wiped down or sprayed down, or it's just a fucking muddy mess, we do have to charge a cleaning fee of $50. And then that's like the only way the customer actually gets up, blows up the unit, and sprays it down.
yeah. I mean, it's everywhere's going to be different. I mean, people don't block their, like, yesterday, my wife was like, hey, I need you guys to take the Valentine's gifts over to the next door neighbors, right? They're like family. And so then our two kids just walk over there, and right, are 9 and 4.5. And then they come back and they're like, yeah, they're not there. I'm like, what? They're not there. What the hell? It took you guys so long? They're like, oh, we made sure to check every room in the house. Like, they didn't, right? They didn't even lock their door. That's just the area that we live in. So yes, there's some locks on gates, but it's not common where we're at. And I'm trying to think if
I've honestly
I
thought
know
of
we've had
something
the issue.
interesting.
What's that?
I thought of something interesting that I want to do, where, like, basically so I always text in the mornings to blow that bitch up, like, blow these units up, get the dew off them, get some air in them, make it easier for our guys to come in there and inspect them and make sure there's no holes in them in the morning. It makes our lives easier, and this way we get all our toys out and jackets out or whatnot, and then we just put them in a pile and then bounce. We don't do any deep cleaning on there. I've already said this once. We do deep cleaning at the shop and light cleaning at the customer's house at drop off. But let me finish for a second. So now, when you go to a person's house and they don't blow it up, and they just left it there, or you're coming there that night, I normally have my guys blow it up so they can inspect it and make sure all that stuff's out of it. And what I've actually started trying to do is I have little cards with QR codes that goes to my review thing, and basically says, hey, like, this card literally is just for the case when you find shit in a bounce house, and you put it in a little pile by the door, and then you'd be like, hey, we found this in a bounce house, want to make sure you didn't lose it, hope that you like our service, and there's just a link to our review.
That's a good idea, because I teach the guys to do that, whether they do it, I don't know.
Well, this way, because it takes the extra time, because the unit's not blown up, and it makes a standard. And now the unit's, like, now that they had to take that extra time, like, now you're leaving it in a positive way to potentially get a review if you're going to do that extra work. So that's the way I was thinking about it.
Just a little issue real quick that I kind of had that I wanted to mention, and call me crazy, but like, I kind of was thinking of maybe adding, to kind of carry around with us. I don't know if maybe a generator would be good, or I don't know what it's called, like those portable battery looking things where you can plug in the blower.
Man. Those small electric ones don't do blowers. I wish they did. Yeah,
that's I run into that issue so many freaking times, that some customers don't have an electrical outlet outside their house, so they have to run the electricity inside, and they unplug, and I cannot inflate the unit. There was also this one time, I remember, it was horrible.
Yeah, those ones, that's in those scenarios, it is what it is. I hear you.
Yeah,
there was
it's the worst when it's a water slide too.
It was bad, and the electricity was completely out of the whole block, dude. So I had a big ass waterlogged water slide that I had to pick up and flip, and I couldn't do shit. Luckily, I had the dolly, and he pulled it. I don't even know how I managed to do that, dude. It was so freaking huge.
I might have went to the shop and just did it. You know what I mean? There's certain things. It is what it is. We're in the business. You gotta be a big boy, big girl. You know what I mean? and just get shit done. It's not always going to be a profit. Sometimes your neighbor's dog's going to eat that shit. It's just sometimes you go to hell. You go to the job and suddenly there's like a giant hill and then the dolly dies and then your
But
guys
there's really
forgot
not
steaks and
there's really no like battery out there like that, like to you know what I'm talking about, like something to carry around that might help out blow out the blowers.
I haven't found a battery pack that works yet, but there might be one out there.
Maybe
It's
Yeah,
not
maybe
gonna
you
be
can get
cheap.
an
It's
inverter.
not gonna be under $500 or $600
Yeah,
bucks.
you need an inverter. Like I'm not an electrician, but I mean, what a 1.0 blower pulls 8 amps. They say 6 on them, but I swear to God, it's not 6. I think it's really 8. I don't think there's a battery out there that's hanging on to 8 amps for
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
startup.
hoping to, like maybe carry just as a backup, just in case, you know, like some shit like that happens.
I've thought about carrying the little small generator. But I actually tested it. My dad has one. My dad has a Husqvarna that's real nice. It won't run a blower, like the little quiet inverter generator. That's like the little compact
really?
one. It
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
even run a blower.
Even
maybe
the
you can get
bigger
it in an
electric
inverter.
ones, I haven't gotten to run one. Not even 1.5, let alone a 1.5, or a
Right,
one,
right.
let alone a 1.5.
Yeah, you could always stick a 1, you know what I mean, on the water slide and have it squishy to get the water out. But yeah, I can't even. Yeah, because that was my idea. I'm like, maybe I'll buy. Right, they're expensive. Those little inverter generators are $900, and they don't even run a fucking 1 blower. They won't even run a 1.0.
I just think that like you're talking about taking up a lot of room in your vehicle for a possible scenario that's not going to happen as much as you
Oh,
think
dude,
it
it
would.
happens to me all the time.
If
It happens
does
to me
happen to you
all
all
the
the
time
time,
out here. It's bad. Yeah, dude.
So
That's
if it happens that much, get an inverter, hook it up to the van or truck or whatever, run it to an extension cord, and then even if you got to put a 1 horsepower on it for just to get it up and get the water out, that'll work.
can you get a big enough inverter for a blower?
I got
Or,
an E350. It just depends on what vehicle you're running.
Yeah, you said you have a 350.
E350, yeah.
Yeah,
I
get
gotta
the
look into it.
I got a 250.
I would just throw because this is going to be occurring on a Sunday morning, right? Most likely. I would just throw one of the regular ass generators on the trailer. You know what I mean? Just put it at the front of the trailer. If it's that frequent, just throw the generator on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. Damn, so I'm the one that has the shitty routes and
Weird, bro. Like I get
It's
questions
crazy.
DM'd me all the time, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea, bro. I've never had that. Like,
yeah, no, I
just-
completely get it. You know,
it's
it's
crazy.
different areas, different. There's just a lot over here. Especially the electrical. Like I said, a lot of houses don't have an outlet for some reason on the outside of their house.
Hey,
I swear I'm a freaking plumber and a freaking electrician. Sometimes I go to some customers' houses.
Nick,
Right.
how many amps did you say a 1.5 pushes?
A 1.5. So on the label of a 1.5, I really think it says 8 or 8.5, but I think it's closer to 10. Because there was like a big scandal with the B Airs were all under labeled. They were all mislabeled. And so if you buy a B Air blower now, it's accurate. And I think a 1 is 8, a 1.5 is 10ish, and then a 2 pulls like 16.
I might disagree with you on that one.
What am I high?
Yeah, the ones are the average 1 horsepower from Bière to Cyclone to Tool King are 7.8, right around 8 amps. The 1.5s go, and they all vary, but you know, if you really want to put them on an accurate electrical test, they're all the same, but they're about 10, between 9.5 and 10.5 amps on a 1.5. The 2s are about 14. You cannot put a 2 horsepower motor and a 1 horsepower motor on a 15 amp breaker. They have to be on separate outlets. So if you've got multiple units with different size motors, you have to have different outlets to put them in. They can't be in the same circuit because you will pop breakers. A good rule of thumb is go 80%. 80% of what the circuit is what you can plug into it. You go over 80%, you're going to pop breakers, you're going to melt wires, you're going to melt cables, like extension cords to your motors, which we've all done. I've done myself. And it really seems, even like that new, I think it's called a Predator blowers. Is that the new one? That new one that came out?
Yeah, Predator.
Okay. Now those draw 16 to 18 amps per motor. Why they draw so much, I have no clue. But
There you go. A 1.0 B Air. See, they fixed it. Used to say that it was 6. Always used to say 6. Now it says
Okay, so
10.6.
the reason why I'm asking that, based on that, maybe if I don't know if I'm reading this right, but you can typically, I'm gonna make a video and I'm probably gonna wow you guys. You can rig an extension cord to a car battery that's not installed in your car, right? And the amperage on it is 550 amps. So you can run a 1.5 on it. I don't know how long it's gonna last.
well,
But matter of fact, I have to buy a battery for my Supra, so I'm gonna buy it this weekend.
Yes, do it. Put it on video. Yes.
I'm gonna put it on video. I'm gonna cut one of my extension cords in half, and so I can have just the plug, and I'm gonna hook it up. And we're gonna put it. I live in pretty good property, so I'm gonna leave it running for a good hour.
Make sure.
Let's
Make
get that
sure.
thing.
Make sure you got freaking what you call it, John, like in a rubber suit, ready to tackle your ass.
I was gonna say have the fire department on standby.
But if it's only 11.5 amps, I mean, a
you can't
car.
put that on a 15 amp breaker.
I wonder if that's if that's
We
startup.
put it on the breaker.
Hey, Mark, I got a quick question for you, sir. If you, or anybody in the chat. So I got a big water slide from Bouncing Angels that takes 2 HP blower and 1.5. But I have a lot of issues with the houses, like popping breakers, even though I connect them in different areas of the house or running different cords. Is it because my cord is too long, or is it just a blower
You
pulling
have it on
from
the same
power?
circuit. You
So-
gotta get separate circuits.
So you're saying
they're in the
you've got
they're not in the same outlet.
Yeah,
They're in
right.
different.
So listen,
Right,
there's
but-
what you plug into is called a duplex receptacle.
Okay.
And that's where your outlet is. Multiple outlets could be on the same circuit.
Yep.
You need to be in a different circuit, different part of the house, different part of the gym.
That's what I just
separate
said.
circuit.
Yep, that's what I said. But it's still blowing. Why is that?
Hook
Yeah,
one
no,
up.
it's not the same
Not
circuit.
just one house. It's been several.
Try to do one to like a washer machine outlet and one to an external plug outlet, GFI.
That,
Can you repeat that, Freddie? I didn't hear you.
they cannot have this stuff.
Chuck, he asked me the question. Shut up. Just kidding.
Dang, all right, so aggressive.
I felt important for a second.
All right, Freddie.
Try
Let me hear you.
to hook them up. Try to hook them up one to a washer machine outlet. Have them disconnect their washer machine and throw it in there, and then one on an exterior out GFI.
Okay.
That washer machine is always going to be on its own circuit breaker. Same thing
Should
with
be a-
like
should be a
stove
30
or
amp.
dryer.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
so
always gonna be
that's
on their
another
own.
thing too. Sometimes you have to have customers, like there's not that many circuits in the house, and you literally have to have them turn off their freaking tell them not to run the fucking microwave and turn off their air conditioner, because that shit will actually turn. It happens all the time. Like I literally ask people, they call me, that stopped working. It was working fine all day. I'm like, did you turn your air conditioner on or turn a microwave on? I'm like, yeah. So how many people here have actually hooked up a water slide to somebody's washing machine? Basically,
You
It's like
are at the ghetto or an old ass house.
Yeah,
my customers are rich.
that happens all
I
the
don't have
time.
them type of customers.
All right, Bruno,
yeah,
simple solution to this.
yep.
When somebody goes to book that water slide, it pops up and says this water slide is due to have a generator rental at the same time due to
Yep.
needing multiple
That's what I've
circuits.
been.
End
That's
of
what I've been
discussion.
taking.
I've
Yep, that's
got
what I've been
I've
just
got an
taking.
obstacle course that takes 4 motors. It's 110 feet long, 2 motors on each section. They want to rent a motor. They want to rent the whole thing. They got to get my now 9,000 watt generator. They want to rent one section. They get my 6,500 generator. You have to rent a generator for that. Explain to them right there, right in the writing. This takes 2 separate circuits to run this properly. If you do not have 2 separate circuits, you have to rent a generator. End of discussion.
Do they fill up your gas and everything, or is
No,
that
you fill
already
it,
included?
you fill it up, you drop it off with the full tank, and if it's more than a 6-hour party, you charge them for a second gas fill up and you leave the gas there.
Hey, Bruno, how old is that slide?
It's brand new, bro. It's the wild thing, the biggest one, the
Yeah,
double
that's a
slide.
heavy one. That's a heavy one.
And it doesn't, and actually it needs more blowers, because even if I have the 2 HP in the back and the 1.5 in the side, it just won't cut it. I have to put the 2 HP in the back and then another one, a 1.0, and then the 1.5 on this side. So
Bruno,
imagine the house is just pushing too much power. So what I've been doing is I've been taking the generator with me and charging him a little bit more. But this year I increased my prices like super crazy. Like I think I went 150 on it more. So it's like 899, I think, right now for that water slide.
I have a rule of thumb. If I can't get it up with one blower, I'm not fucking owning it once it's an event piece.
Well, this is a dual lane with a slip and slide, right, Bruno?
Yep.
Yeah,
Who makes it,
that's
Bruno?
2 blowers.
Blowing that up with
Minimum,
1
but I'm
horsepower.
not blowing it up with 3.
It
You
says
blow it up.
something.
Hey, I got a question.
Yep.
I have a question. Did my brother
ahead.
say he was gonna put a blower on a car battery?
Yeah. Don't talk him out of it.
He wants you to wear a rubber suit and tackle him if it goes wrong.
That's
No, you said you want to see him in a rubber suit all oiled up.
I just want to see somebody spray the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, he said you can have a ball in your mouth, a ball gag in your mouth, or you don't have to have a ball gag in your mouth. It's got to be a rubber suit.
But it's
you know I
got
don't
to
ever, you know I don't ever
in
drink
water.
it through. And I was watching from Facebook and I'm like, hold on, I gotta go jump on this.
I'm gonna make a video this
This
weekend. I
guy.
gotta buy a battery.
Stand in
What
water when
part
you
of the
do
board are
something.
you from?
The bottom, underneath. If you pick up the board, you see the cockroaches. That's me.
That's what my president was talking about. You people stay over there. It's okay, white people. You guys can laugh. It's okay. We give you the approval. They're like, do we laugh or do we not laugh? We're not sure.
Yeah. If we laugh, we're gonna be racist.
Oh man, great.
But yeah,
Alright,
I'm gonna make a video this weekend.
I can't
During-
believe
That one right there.
it, bro. If this works, I feel like this is like gonna change the game, bro.
I'm gonna patent it. I'm gonna patent it, and you guys have to pay me.
I'm down. I may just do it. Just keep one battery. I mean, fucking car batteries are expensive now, but
Mark,
still.
when's the vacuum coming
No,
out?
they're not that expensive. The one I was just looking at was 550 amps. It's freaking $130.
Yeah, just keep one of those in the truck, bro, and then a little
Yeah.
jumper that, like a little whip that goes from each terminal into a female, and then you can just boom, go.
Mark,
Yeah,
when
you
you
do-
release
you
the
do-
vacuum?
do realize
how long is
550
that going to
full
last
cranking
not
amps
recharging?
It's not the same of amps, right?
What'd you say, Mark?
The
I said, how long
amps
is the
is not-
battery going to last without recharging it or an alternator charging the battery?
Well, you have to put it on a trickle charger for sure when you get
30
home.
30 minutes
Just like
tops.
No,
the
I
Jerry
mean on
Dollar.
the
Got the
job.
truck running.
30 minutes tops. It says on the top of the battery. I
So
worked
the
in
people's
auto
party
parts
is only
stores
going to
for
last
15
30
years.
minutes?
Yeah, I worked in auto parts stores for 15 years. You're gonna blow up your car. Just
Yeah,
get it
agreed.
inverted,
No,
man.
Agreed.
So that's why I said you don't use the one on your car. There's a completely separate battery.
Yeah, but
You're
you're
gonna
just
blow
gonna
the
drain the battery. You're gonna kill the battery in like 3 minutes, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And
The
it's gonna
party's
smell like
over.
rotten eggs and blow up.
Guys,
That's
stop
how you take
talking
it.
him
Let
out
him
of
put
it.
it on
They got a 5-year
first,
warranty.
and then we'll see. Let's
Yeah.
Just get an
Let's see.
inverter,
I want, yeah.
$120 inverter, hook it up the right
Inverter
way.
is gonna trip.
I want to see it live in the Facebook groups.
Nick,
Nah, I can't do it. Oh, I can do it live. But I gotta make sure I get paid for this.
Well, I
We
mean,
got-
the
I got
outcome depends on the outcome. We
$5.
can talk about
You
compensation.
do it on an OnlyFans.
we now
You're gonna
have a
get
new
paid on the
name
life
for this.
insurance.
This is no
don't mind
longer
Freddie.
called,
There's Freddie.
Freddy's
Huh?
gonna be the Elon,
I
the
would
Elon Musk
sign up for
of-
Freddy's car battery experiments OnlyFans.
What's the
this is
inverter?
no
Who was talking about the
longer-
inverter?
This is no longer called, the
You can
booze and
do an
fizz.
inverter hook up to your car battery.
What?
But those will trip.
Yeah, because I have a small one that's 2
you
amps,
plug in
but,
2
like, for
iPhones and
charging.
you're done.
Yeah, I have a 2 amp one that I love that's in the work
But
truck.
here's the
that
thing, how
will
long
charge
is
my
a
MacBook.
battery going to last sitting on the
You don't-
ground?
You
running a
don't
motor?
need it for that long. You just got to blow it up and get the water off. You're
Oh,
not
you're
running
talking about when you go
roundhouse
like to
all
do
day.
pickup.
Define blow it up.
the
but
way
the way-
you want my brother in a black suit oiled up with a gag ball. I'm not going there.
All
So
right,
I
listen,
never said oil. Where'd you get
So-
oil from?
so you
don't
were
know, you
just
said
talking
something about
about
me and
doing
him
this to blow it up when you get to a shop if you need to.
Yeah, it's just a quick blow it up.
Okay, all right, I
So,
understand that part.
get your stuff
Yeah, I'd
off.
like to see a video of that.
Yo, Nick.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
So I was on Facebook and I heard the talk about the car battery and the blower and shit, and I just had to join real quick because I got subs in my truck, and the amp that runs them is 1200 watts, which equals right around 10 amps. And if the truck's off, in which case the alternator isn't recharging the battery, so it's just straight battery, that 1200 watt amp pushing at 1200 watts will drain that battery, and the truck won't start after like 10 minutes max.
Yeah,
So
but
you
that's
think
an
we
amp
could blow
with
up a
1200
slide?
watts.
But
This is a
you think
blower
we
with
could blow up
10
a slide?
What I'm saying is 1200 watts is equal to 10 amps.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you divide by
1200 watts.
12. Yes. Okay, that all tracks. But do you think we could blow
Alright,
up a slide?
Can I ask
It'd
a question?
It'd be very close. Like if so, not for long at all.
But like just
Someone
one
has a
so we
question
could get the
about
water out the
something. They'll
pool
bank with
and
us.
roll it. Like let's say we go and 22-foot dual lane is not flooded, but like they partied hard and it's a trailer and they're all gone and all the outlets are on the inside. Could you potentially blow up our 22-foot just to get water out the pool and get some shit water off the slide, whatever, so we could fold and roll?
It's possible.
Nick, we gonna find out.
It's possible.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I got a question. Okay. Are you guys talking about you can show up to a customer's house and this thing is deflated when you get there?
Yes.
Correct.
And they're not home and they use the power inside and the cords are thrown out the window.
Yep.
All right,
and
I
nobody
got
goes.
a solution for you. I got a solution. There's a $50 fee if this slide is not inflated when I arrive. I guarantee that inflatable will be inflated.
Bruno said it's not.
Yeah. I
It's
do
not-
it.
you
Most of the
literally
time
have-
it is. Bruno
You
said it's
literally
not.
have to threaten the customer in order for them to either clean it or inflate it for you. I normally say that if it's not rinsed, or if it's super muddy, to rinse it, well, there's going to be a $50 charge, and they immediately rinse it, but they still deflate it, or they like some of us, they just throw the quartz outside, or they're gone for church, or vice versa.
You
food,
think
whatever.
that somebody that's using their power from the inside of a window is gonna leave their house unsecure because there's a $50, you're threatening them with a $50 fee? If somebody came at me and I found a $50 fee on my credit card, number one, I'm calling my bank. Number two, I'm calling you and telling you you forever lost a customer. Over
Well, they agreed to it on the contract. Who cares?
nah,
They
Yep,
agreed.
they agreed to the
that's like
We don't
charging
charge
somebody
fees.
$50 to
It's
clean
not
it
like
up
I'm
when there's
adding the
dirt on it.
$50 fee. It's not like I'm adding just a $50 fee. It's on everything, bro. And I text them and I let them know, to make sure, don't do this. Even at drop off, I remind them three
just-
times.
They
just
just
don't care.
think Bruno's a bitch. They just don't care. They just
Oh,
like,
we-
you know what? I'll do what I
There was
want.
one time- There was this one
Bruno
lady
got
that
all the bad
was-
customers, bro.
I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, dude. Like it was super muddy, and the customer was bringing. They didn't have water. For some reason, they didn't have a water hose. So the
Yeah,
water.
I would tell them, you know what? I think this one actually has a hole in it.
Yeah.
As
I
soon
don't
as
know.
they start saying they don't got water, oh no, I don't
I
want
know
you.
it sounds kind of
Get away.
crazy. Like I really need I need a GoPro so I can show you guys what the fuck I go through.
How about you guys just roll it up from the back and take it home?
Yeah,
That's
roll it up
what
from
I
the
do.
back.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, roll
Bruno,
it.
didn't you
Roll it from
have
the
Bruno?
back
Didn't you
side
have
up.
a channel? I thought you had a YouTube channel. You started one or no?
I started one, dude, but I just don't have the time. Then I was working. I'm not even lying. We were working 100 hours a week, 100 to 120 hours a week. We were barely getting any sleep.
That's
I
it.
didn't have time for shit.
That's crazy.
That's it. There's only 168 hours a week, bro. I was working 120 hours. That's why I'm switching my hours now this year and picking up the next day rather than picking up at 7. Because that's what I used to do. Pick up
Yeah.
at 7 and go all the way to like 1 in, which I would
Yep.
be out all day long.
Yeah, we did that shit for. I mean, we did it for a little while. Like I was trying to figure out how to make it work. So I'm like, no, I think everybody does this. Like, we got to figure it out to make it work. And then finally, I'm like, this is dumb. We ain't doing this no more. We're just getting all the shit the next day. Unless
Bruno,
like,
how do your customers feel about that?
they're all
1 a.m.
stoked.
pickups.
They're all stoked.
About
Like
the what?
they all love it. They all get excited. Every now and then we'll get that, that dude that like is like, I want it off my grass. I want my grass to die. I'm like, bro, your grass is not gonna die. Like, your kids are gonna kill the grass in the pool, homie. Like the unit being on the grass for another 4 hours, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours overnight is not gonna, you know what I mean? And they're headstrong about getting it picked up. I make it happen. We've made it happen every time. I think maybe not 1 or 2. Like I was like, sorry, not possible. But yeah,
If they're pretty headstrong, they start getting weird too. Like, well, I'm not gonna be liable if this thing goes missing. They start
hate
saying
that.
wild shit.
Yeah.
Like, they start saying wild shit like that too. It's just like, well, I don't even.
I hate
When they
say
start getting all weird and they don't want it, and like, after like the second time you push it over on them, they say no. It's like, well, fuck, I gotta go grab this.
yeah, just grab it. And
Hey,
then,
let me ask y'all this. What's y'all answer for when they say it's gonna run up the electric bill? Like I'm like,
Oh.
bro, you
Turn it
probably
off?
pay more for your microwave
Then-
when you
Yes.
heat up your noodles.
That's what I
actually
tell
have-
them. Like,
like
I
they don't
actually
know.
have a true answer for that question.
oh, Mark's
Your
got it.
noodles and
At,
poodles.
Mark,
the-
you got a true answer for that?
at the IAPA convention one year, Orlando Electric came in and they did a test. A woman's hair dryer uses more power than the blower on the inflatables. So those little handheld, blow dry their hair, that uses more power than an inflatable blower.
But a woman is
How
only
long,
using
though?
that for she's only using that for 20, 30 minutes max, right?
But
So when
that's
you
the
talk-
best freaking line. I've
Well, wait.
told that to so many people
Okay.
and they're like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Gotcha.
It's-
Okay.
It's
Okay.
the best line.
I
to
just
say.
need something to reference though. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Do you
I
make
do
them,
have a lot
Derek? Do you
for
make them keep it
night.
blown up the whole time?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, I tell them just unplug it.
Oh, okay. All
Blow
right.
it up in
Yeah,
the
I just tell them
morning.
like
It's when
whenever
blow it up
party's
in the
over,
morning.
boop, plug out the wall, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So we end up putting a watchdog siren on all of ours, and we try to show them how to use it, but I don't want to freak them out when that siren goes off when they unplug it. So
Oh yeah,
What state are you in?
I'm in Florida, like the
Florida?
Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, you're going hard with the ASTM, aren't you?
Well, it's not that it's a requirement, but it's so much fucking competition out here that I'm trying to do any and everything I could do to stand out to justify the prices. Because like I said, I don't come in as the cheapest. Like I'm far from it, and I'm a relatively new dude.
Hey, you're in Tampa.
Yeah,
What do you rent a 13 by 13?
150.
Oh, dude, I do 89 bucks, 2 tables and 20 chairs.
God damn, shut the fuck up, man.
he does it. He's fucking with you. No, but that's
No,
yeah,
you know
so-
what? You up in Ocala, aren't you? You're in Ocala.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got you on my list of checking people out. So yeah, I see your site. Yeah.
You mean
Is
you
this
got
true
them on
for
the list
for
of cheap
the
renters?
Florida people that
Wait,
apparently
say
I've
it
been
again.
talking
Y'all
to
broke up.
I've been talking to a lot of people from Florida. They've been telling me that for some reason there's less people doing tents out there, and apparently there's this one guy specifically, Jesus, Freddie. He already has like 64 bookings on tents. Is it true there's not a lot of people doing tents out there?
I mean,
I
I
think it
don't do.
depends where you
I
are.
got got some pop-up tents that I'll do, but only just for like backyard stuff. There's some big tent companies out here in this area that
Yeah.
charges like for a lot of the festivals and shit. It just, for me and the operation that we're running, it just doesn't seem worth it to even get in that business to try to get competitive.
On the
I got a
The
guy that
numbers, the numbers that they were showing me, I'm like, wow. I wish I get that out here, but I just don't. The tents is probably my weakest, out here in Kansas. But out there, I've been seeing
Bruno, come
tickets.
to Florida, bro. Come to Florida.
I don't know, dude. It's too hot.
Buffalo.
I'm used to Kansas and the cows.
Florida's cool.
Hey, West Palm Beach.
No, but I'm being serious. I think tents are a bit. They're probably like a big hit down there. Like I'm kind of.
No, they are. Yeah, I got a guy who I've been talking with. He's been kind of mentoring me, and he's been in the game for about 15 years. And he does tents and like some of the larger tents that he does. He even partners that out because he knows the price he'll get them at. But he was like, yeah, he goes through another company and he has these recurring events. It's just nothing that I've ever wanted to really get into. I've said I was going to do some backyard tents, like pop-ups,
Wesley,
10 by 10s, 10 by 20s. But
I'm down. Sorry, what Wesley said, if somebody wants to do 50-50, I'm down, dude. I'm always down to make money. I'm even considering about selling this business in 2 more years.
50-50 on what?
So
On
I'm
10.
out of here, everybody. You guys have a good night. I love you all. I'll
Fell
see you
out.
guys later.
Where you going, Justin Fettuccine? You ain't got no kids.
Me, I gotta go run this business right now.
he got a long arcade. Make an update.
I'm with you. Yes, I'm about to go roll a blunt, but I'm at the weed lounge right now. So every Wednesday I work at the freaking lounge here, and I have to freaking basically be on site.
I go to church every Wednesday. You should come join me.
Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm near the other side of the country.
Doesn't matter. I can find you a church right by you where they have the Wednesday service. Good old Baptist
I know,
Jesus
church
but
travels,
right around the
man.
corner.
Jesus
If
travels.
you want to come to we can start a weed church over here.
Dang.
No, that wouldn't work.
Or Church of the Rastafari.
That wouldn't work. It would just be called the social club, not a church.
It's called the Roaring 420s Lounge.
There you go. That's what it's called. 420 Lounge.
Listen, I'll talk to you guys later, though. Everybody have a good one. Stay safe and be happy.
Later,
All right,
Justin.
good night, Fettuccine.
Justin Fettuccine. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Justin Fettuccine.
Fettuccine.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Right.
Wait, so what was the question? I forgot now.
Hey, so another question. The gentleman had jumped on. I think he might have logged off now, but he jumped on real quick talking about blowers and amps on like a generator. I know most people common practice is the Harbor Freight like Predator generators are like always brought up as the generator of choice. And people say they can get 2 1 horsepower blowers on that. How do y'all calculate the amps versus the horsepower versus what the generator can do? Because I know a generator has a certain startup power, a running power, and then you have what the blowers can actually do.
Just go big.
you divide by you basically divide by 120. So 10, like a 10 amp, whatever. Let's say a 10, like if a blower pulls 10 amps, okay, but and it's running at 120 volts, you times by 120, so it needs 1200 watts.
Okay.
So if your blower pulls 10 amps and you want to run 2 blowers, right? It's 2 times 120. You're going to need 2400 watts. Now, again, not an electrician, so you need running, not startup. And then also your blowers will peak. They peak higher. They're going to pull more amps at startup. Right. They have the capacitor inside that mitigates it to where it's not super bad. That's why they don't pop breakers. The best way to look at it though is if you need 2 blowers, just 2 generators, unless you're gonna go buy like a big dog, you know what I mean? 9,000 watt.
Okay, so here in Florida, I already had a I think it is a 9,000. It might be 8,500. It's a Ryobi big dog I bought just for hurricanes and whatnot. And so having that, I'm like, everyone's telling me like, man, you can run your whole damn house on this thing. This thing is freaking huge and blah, blah, blah. It's got the 30 amp plug and this, that, and the other. So then I was like, okay, well, I want to do a photo shoot of the 6 units that I have right now. And of those 6 units, 4 of them use a 1 amp blower, and one uses a 2 amp, and the other uses a 1.5. So I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna need at least 1 more blower, but I was wondering if I could get away with a big ass blower and then like one of these 4375 Predators.
Okay, you're only going to get maybe 2, max 3 motors on that 4375. That's only
Okay.
if you have the 4-prong plug going into the 30 amp breaker.
Okay.
Okay. I have an 8550 Predator and a 9000 Tool King. I can put 7 motors on each one of them generators. People say I'm nuts, but if you have a 4-prong plug going into the 30 amp breaker, you can easily put 2 to 3 motors on that breaker. The 30 amp breaker, you can put 2 motors on it, and each of the individual receptacles, you could put 1 motor apiece if they all have separate breakers. You can't obviously start not all of them up at one time.
Right, you would stagger that.
You stagger the startups. A 4375 does not have the capacity power to push more than 2 motors unless you have the 4-prong plug, if it's acceptable to that particular generator. That way, each plug has a separate breaker. Usually the breakers are 20 amp breakers on those generators. Most of them are. So that tells you right there, you can put a 2 horsepower on each of the 20 amp breakers right off the bat. But you won't want to top it no more than that if you don't have a 4-prong plug to use the 30 amp breaker, because it just won't push it. It'll make it'll run the motors. Don't get me wrong. But the motors will draw more power, which will most likely melt your cord to the plug or to the extension cord that's plugged into it, which we've all seen that before.
Yeah, so see, this one has 2 breakers. See, so this is a 20 amp breaker here, and then this is a 20 amp breaker here. So there's 2 different breakers with 2 plugs on either, right? But you can only run 1 blower on this breaker and 1 blower on this breaker. And then over here, this says that it's 120 30 amp max. So this may be a 3rd breaker.
Okay, stop. Don't move your screen around no more. Leave it. Move that generator over just a little bit to the right. Your picture the other way. Okay, keep going. Okay, you see those breakers? That breaker right there. There is not a separate breaker for the 30 amp.
Oh, right, because it's right
Wait
here.
a minute. What's that? What's that right there? What's that? That right there. Right there. AC breaker. There's a 30 amp breaker right there. See right there, that little where your cursor is.
Yeah,
right
so
now?
that's a 30 amp, and then this says this is
Those
DC.
that little breaker is for the DC plug. right there. That's got to be for the DC plug.
Oh, for
That
this,
other
right.
breaker, the 30 amp, is for the 4-prong plug. So literally, what size generator is that one?
Right there, 7250.
That's a 9,000. Okay, you can easily put 6 motors on that generator without a question of a doubt. Easily, 6 motors on that generator. You put one right there, 2 on the top, 3 on the bottom. The 3 on the bottom is your 4-prong plug.
Like
You
6
can easily do that.
1.5s, 1
You can't
horsepower,
put obviously 7. You can't obviously put 7 2 horsepower. There's no, yeah, that would be insane. You can't
Yeah.
do that.
I've
But
I've
that
put
motor right there, I can guarantee you can run 6 motors easily without no problems on that generator.
yeah, I second that. I've put 4 2 horsepowers on that. While I'm cleaning,
Do
no problem.
customers care about it being the quiet kind and not in your experience?
Yeah,
No.
the quietness, they all want quiet, obviously, but you know, my recourse to that is I can't afford a $1,200 generator that's made by Honda or by somebody that's super duper quiet, when really the decibel quietness is not that much difference. It's the muffler that's on the unit.
Like I have this one right here. This one's more expensive than that one, and look, it's a third of the watts.
Mhm.
And that
is it-
hold the 2 1.5s?
Because this is it's
that's
called an
got 2
inverter
breakers, it
generator,
will.
where this is the quiet one.
If it's got 2 breakers, it will, but it's what's the 3-prong say? Is that a 30 amp 3-prong on that? Well, it's a 3500. There's no way it's going to run 2 motors.
Yeah, so this is 20 amp breaker there, and then this is 30 amp this is run like the air conditioner in the camper. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then you can charge an
Yeah.
iPhone.
Do you
exactly.
really need something that runs 4 motors?
Well, I don't do it no more because the kids are getting bigger. But for almost 7 straight years, I did a Halloween event for this one family. They would rent from me no more or no less than 10 inflatables for their parties. I'd have 2 generators that would run that party. It was a 2-hour
Damn.
party every year. It was a Halloween party, extremely wealthy people. And they would want 2 generators with 10 units. They would do summer parties where I'd have 5 or 6 water slides, 2 generators. And you got to get a generator that big for that. But for your answer, Freddie, the normal generator that the most of us use, 4,500 to 6,500. At the 3,500s are good to have. You can run 2 motors off of 3,500 because there's 2 separate breakers, 2 15 amp breakers on there, so you could run 2 motors off of 3,500.
I thought the 3,500 you couldn't.
Yes.
Hey,
You
Nick,
can
you
or you
the
can't.
link I put in there? I want to see what this is the exact generator that I have, and I'm looking to do a photo shoot with 6 units, 4 1 horsepower, 1 1.5, and 1 2.
Where's what generator?
The one that Nick's pulling up right now. Hopefully, I didn't put no spyware on your computer.
I know. Yes,
late.
Home Depot can know where I'm at. That's fine.
The 6,500? No, the Ryobi?
Yes.
I don't think you'll be able to do it.
No. Okay.
Nope, not at all. I'm not being an ass to you.
No.
I know-
And that's
I
okay
know
because I
about-
have
know about
access
that
to another
generator.
computer.
Yeah, I know
I'm just
about
trying to
that
figure out
generator.
how many I could get on there.
You might could get 3, maybe 4.
Okay.
Maybe 4.
Gotcha.
But that the Ryobis don't have they just don't have the power. It's just not there.
Now you got me thinking how many I could run on my generator.
Let's go
That-
running
that-
war. Predator
Ryobi-
9000.
That's
Mine's,
6,500 right there. Okay, see the 30 amp 4-prong right there? You can put 2 on that one and 1 on each of the other for sure. Maybe
Okay.
you could get 3 on the 30 amp, depending on what size motor you're putting there. You might could get a 2 and a horse and a half on that, and 2 separate ones on the 20 amp, except this. Both of those plugs has 4 outlets. You think to yourself, holy crap, I could put 4 things in there. No. Those 2 plugs together only have a 20 amp breaker. You're lucky to get 2 horse and a halves on that motor, on those 2 plugs right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. On
There's
20.
one breaker for them two plugs. If there was a separate breaker, a 20 amp on each one of them plugs, you're golden, but they're not.
Gotcha.
There's one breaker for both of those plugs.
Okay.
So right now, me looking at that, if I was to have that generator, I would not put more than 3 motors on there, max.
So not talking about a customer event, but like if I want to say I'll put a 1 on each of the 20 amps. And then on the 30 amp, I'll put 2 1s on that. Would that work?
Okay, the problem, okay, so 2 1s right off the bat is going to be close to 16 amps.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more than 80% of 20 amps. I don't think it'll run it. I think it'll pop it. Well, it'll run it for a little bit, but once it gets hot, it'll pop it.
It'll pop. Okay, gotcha.
That's my thoughts on it.
All right. So bring more generators. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I would just tell you to go buy another one. I was trying to figure out, like, I don't use them that much. I only got one city that's far away that needs them all the time at the parks. That's the only time they ever go for me. So I don't mess with them that much. Yeah, so that's not enough. That's 15 amps. It's only 15 amps. Like the one I have is a brand called Champion, and it's 3,500 watts. But I didn't pay this much for it though. I only paid $400. You can get them at Sam's now. You can get them at Sam's. Yeah, just like for that photo shoot, just go buy, a $400 one, and then go in the inventory and run out when needed when you get bigger. That's what I would do.
Hey Nick, I just sent you a link if you could look that up real quick. And since we're talking about generators on your messenger, now I'm kind of curious to hear Mark see what he thinks. How many generator or not generator? So how many blowers I could use with my generator?
Yeah, let me get it. It's not pulling up on my computer. Let me text it to myself. Hold on one second. Moving food too fast for my computer. Can't keep up.
What's a Milwaukee stick pump?
Is it
You don't need that.
Is that what he's pulling up?
No, that's not what I'm pulling up. I have no idea what a stick pump is. I've tested submersible and non-submersible pumps for all sorts of things. They don't work. I mean, they work, but it just takes too long.
Total waste of time.
Yeah, total waste of time. And you got to think you're inside of a flooded bounce house or flooded water slide with a thing that plugs into the wall. Like, you about to kill yourself.
Okay.
It wasn't my finest hour when I realized that. I was like, wow, I've been using this pump, trying to test this pump forever, and I almost died.
Mark, this is your expertise here. How many blowers do you think I can run with this one?
That one right there, that's a badass generator right there.
Thank
I
you.
can't see close-ups because Nick's got the screensaver thing going on. But those look like each one of those separate plugs are 20 amps. And then you've got a 3-prong and a 4-prong. So there's easily 2, 4, 5, 6. I could do
Got a
7 motors
50
on
amp.
this.
It says that's a 50 amp.
Okay, it's a 50 amp.
It says right there.
Yeah, we could use
Okay,
that
so
one needle
so then
gas
that's
or
so then what? In order to do that plug right there, you would have to have the what's called a whip, where it plugs in and it has three plugs on the other side. That's called a whip. Okay, so the whip for that would have to have the end that a motorhome plug goes into, because that's a 50 amp breaker for a motorhome.
Oh, okay.
You could get that whip. If you could get that plug on a whip, you could easily run 4 motors off of that without a question of a doubt. That also looks like it's a gas.
That's $1,000 generator. You're smoking drugs if that's what you're using.
No,
No, I just was looking at a 12,000 watt generator. It's on Amazon right now. It's just under
think I got it.
$1,000.
Yeah.
I just used it on a job that I did with my big obstacle course. And I was looking at the breaker system and I'm going, holy crap. I could put 8 motors on this one unit. This one generator, I could put 8 motors on it. But who the hell's gonna have 8 units going out at one time in someplace, you know?
Right.
Most
Well,
likely,
All right,
I like
I'm off the bed.
if
Buenas
you've got
nachos.
8 units- if you've got 8 units going to one job somewhere,
Get y'all
they're
too.
probably spread apart like in a football field. So
Yeah,
you're gonna need
well,
2 or
normally
3
when-
little generators.
When I clean the units, Mark, I usually pull like 16 units at a time. So I like to pull them all out, but I want to maximize this generator. So if I could add more, you know, because right now I got 4 blowers, but man, if I could do 6 or 8, I mean, shoot, that's a game changer.
You set up
Bedtime.
you set up 16
Sorry.
units at a
Sorry,
time to
10:30.
clean?
Excuse me. Oh, was that an attitude?
Hello?
Bruno,
What?
Freddie, go to mute.
Sorry.
you set
Late,
up
Freddie.
16 units to clean at a time?
I do. Yeah,
And how many people do you get to come in and do that?
I'm gonna be that honest. It's just 2 to 3 people at the most.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I want a video of that.
Huh?
I want a video of that.
you?
I got several. I'll send quite a few, but I like to do them just all at once, so that way I'm not over there doing them throughout the week. I mean, it's tiring, but we get up like at 5 in the morning, and then we get done at 1 p.m.
Oh, you really working immigrants?
Bro, you
Oh
crazy. You
God.
crazy. Just
Stop
clean
it,
some
bro.
tomorrow.
My wife is cracking up. She's saying that we're dying out there.
Yeah, you are. You're killing yourself. Why? Just clean like 4 today and 4 tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
I
kind of
got
want
a
to do something
15-year-old
else, though,
son.
man.
That's who does my cleaning.
I'm trying to do
Yeah,
some.
that's the first
other
shit I
businesses
hired.
throughout that whole week. I'm honestly not even thinking about doing weekday rentals this year. Just focusing on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we just do like 2, 3 at the most at a time, but mainly 2. Nick, we still see your screen, bro.
I know it's this thing. Yeah, this.
What is that?
I don't know why a guy's talking though. It's like this pump thing. But I don't know why this guy's talking so long. They'll get back to it.
Well, I've
There we
seen
go,
that
there
you
we
guys are living your life. What is that?
It's a pump.
Oh, yeah. I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you
What's
could
that
go set that in the in the pool or something. I don't know. That's just more shit
Yeah,
than
let me
a
tell you something. I've
not
seen
gonna
all
need
these
that.
different gimmicks of people, how they empty the water out of the pool.
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing faster than open a zipper, standing on the side, grabbing the pool liner and draining that pool in just a matter than a minute and a half.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah, sometimes you look at that water and you go, damn, what the fuck is floating around in there? And then I won't lie, there's been a couple times I put my pressure cleaner boots on and went in there and drained some water because I looked at them and was like, shit, I don't know if that's Jerry curl in there or if that's mayonnaise or what the hell's in that water. But
So
yeah,
wait,
you know,
let me ask you guys this, because we for the guys who know me, we started in October, right? So we haven't gotten to the wet season yet. So
Well, you gonna be hurting?
what's that?
Good luck.
You gonna be hurting?
I know. Well, yeah, we've been practicing with our slide. We got big dual lane slide, and we've been putting out the wet dry combo, but no one's wanted it wet so far. But we bought a shop vac, right?
Don't do it. Don't do it. I
No.
know what you're gonna say. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't
Don't do it.
just
Stand on the side of the pool and drain it.
Bro, I done listen to me. I done everything there is to ever do, right? Like I experimented with everything ever, and we did shop vac for like if it rain because it rains all the time, right?
Right.
So if it rains overnight, then the units are deflated and they get flooded inside. It doesn't matter what you do, like just go pick them up with 2 guys and roll through it. That is the way to do it.
Yeah.
There has been some point in time, like maybe 2 times, but we'll use like my rolling straps on a combo because you can roll it tighter and squeeze that water out and get it to the
Right.
vent. And then water slides, like, yeah, same thing, like, flooded water slide, just rolling straps, roll it tight, squish it out. It's a way to do it.
Man, I mean, the shop vac has worked for us though. Like you say, for the times it's rained, we bring it out. The only problem is we only get about a good, 5 minutes out of the shop vac with the battery on it.
Oh yeah, we were plugging.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
you
wall.
gotta do away with that. You gotta do it away with that.
Are you
Come
talking about
easy.
getting inside the unit and taking the water out of it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
no,
the thing is, like, it works, but you're wasting time.
Yep.
And my thing is, like, time is money. I'm trying to get out of these people's yards. If there's too much water in there, roll it from the back.
That's the easiest, what Freddie said, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the bet. Like I've literally tried everything. Like I said, I got
We
shit
did
on
the
my
pump
YouTube
thing.
channel where I'm in there with like I said, that freaking DC pump that plugs in the wall, pumping
Yeah.
water out.
That don't work.
It's not a good idea because I could have killed myself. Like that's a low chance. Totally bad idea because it could happen. And then it just takes forever. Like it's just pumping water forever, and it's like, right. And now I'll say this: if you're out there picking up stuff alone, it's a little bit of a different story because that's back when I tested all that stuff. That's what I was doing. I was solo, so it's like there was almost no way to get. I mean, if you go to my YouTube channel, I watched the video that's titled "Bounce House Nightmares." Like the amount of water that's in that freaking combo, it's the Trop combo from Spacewalk. If that thing gets rained on, bro, it is insane how much water gets in it. Like it was just it was so heavy. It was the dolly wouldn't stay. Like I had to hold the dolly down after I pumped water, after I rolled it. You know what I mean? But like I said, I was alone, picking that up. But now that we just run 2-man crews, it's like, nope, just roll and go.
Just use a winch.
I use the winch. I don't use it
I have
anymore because
one.
I got stronger.
I have one on my rolls all. I've literally never even hooked it up.
Yeah, I
I'm
use
not
it all
ready
the
to start
time.
that conversation because I had that conversation last time I was on, and that took us to 12 o'clock. So
The winch.
Not
Yeah, you bring
doing
up
it.
dollies or rental software, bro. We're gonna be here for a while.
I use the rolling machine, and that seems to help for some reason.
The rolling machine.
Yeah,
Yep.
those things are goofy. They're really
they are.
invented.
They take a lot of space, and then it sucks because you have to have them plugged in.
Yep.
But I found a way to just kind of make it fast. I don't know. It's got its pros and cons. Like, I mean, it saves your back in a way, but then it also it's not that great. Like I honestly I mean, the people that helped me, they said it's great, but I give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
It's one of those things that we use here and there.
Yeah, it's really intended to have at your warehouse, so when you're cleaning, you can roll at the warehouse because it's
Cleaning, definitely it helps a bunch.
yes, it's big, it's heavy, it's cumbersome, it's got to plug into the wall.
Especially when you're opening 16 units at a time.
Right, bro, 16, that's insane.
It is.
I
It's
still want
tough.
to see a video of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I have a camera here, but I never really get to take it out. Maybe the drone too, and just sometimes I get footage. Sometimes I just can't.
I
But
couldn't get enough people to do 7 units in a day to come here.
Really? Dang. No, we try to just knock everything down in one day, because the thing too is that our weather is really crazy, so it's like really nice one day and then the next day, like tomorrow, it was nice today, and then tomorrow's gonna snow
Bruno, where you at?
in Kansas.
Super Bowl champions, baby.
Yeah.
Well, is that Kansas City or Kansas State?
No, Wichita, Kansas.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
so they call it the windiest city out here. So it also gets super windy too, around March and April. So I got a fucked up weather and fucked up clients. I'm just fucked. Sorry.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
letting
okay.
it out. But just don't hit me. Just
You
everybody
gotta
has
move to
their own
Texas.
struggles. Everybody's got their own struggles, I'm sure.
Yeah, we got
All your-
Buffalo weather, so you guys all know about that.
All your hopes and dreams will be in Texas.
Maybe. Well, just hear Freddie. Freddie has a bunch of problems in Texas, but his are the prices. Mine are not
Well,
the
Freddie
prices.
only pays his help is like what was it, $5, $15, Freddie? What do you
Yeah, and then I gotta
$5
feed
roll,
them
bro.
and house them, and
you gotta feed him and shit?
and then I have to pay the mortgage and
But, oh, Freddie, I thought you were down in Florida.
I am in Florida. I don't know why you called me Texas.
Yeah.
No, I meant
Oh,
Freddie
shit.
from the other chat. That's
Oh,
the Alfred, not Freddie. Alfred.
Oh yeah. He's in Texas.
All right, well, gentlemen, I'm out of here, man. Great talking to you guys as always. Great info, Nick. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys, man.
Absolutely.
Feel free
Have a great night.
Feel free to hit me up
Yeah.
there anytime you want.
All right, we'll do, Mark. Thank you,
I'm on
sir.
the east coast of Florida, right across the state from you.
That sounds good. I appreciate it, brother.
All right.
All
All
right,
right.
guys.
See ya.
Take care.
Yeah, I'm literally eating a Lunchable right now. I'm hungry. I packed a Lunchable just in case.
A Lunchable.
Yeah, we breaking into
Like
it.
the Lunchable, like you're going in the airport.
Yeah, ate kind of an early dinner. So
Well, I'm gonna head out too. I got 5 dogs to take out, so I'll talk to you guys later on.
all right, Mark.
Thanks.
See ya, Mark. Dang, everybody's trying to sleep early today.
I know, bro. I may wake up and get some shit done tomorrow. I gotta take my kids to the dentist in the morning.
Hey, Nick, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
You
what's
share
up?
that damage waiver with me? We don't have a damage waiver. This is our second year in. And I think it's probably a good idea to add it to a rental process.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even think it's a form. I think it's just a
Okay.
checkbox on the website.
Okay.
And then I think I added, I added wording to the rental contract of kind of the parameters of it. I think, I don't know. I didn't do it that long ago, but it was kind of one of those things like you do once and kind of forget it. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Have you been using that for a while?
Yeah, I added it. I'm trying to remember when I added it. It might have been last summer. It might have been at the end of last summer. Not not that long.
Okay.
It's one of those things that just kind of like people started checking the box and we started making 7% more, on a whole bunch of rentals.
Yeah.
30% of the rentals, maybe 40% of the rentals.
Okay.
Um,
Like a car
and then-
rental thing. Where
and
they,
then I told my admin, so I got a new girl that's working for me, that does the bookings and stuff. So she runs the Event Hawk and then if somebody's in an inflatable office with a quote that they didn't finish, she follows up with them. But I basically told her that if they call you or text you where you have to go build the booking, just put that in. Like just
right.
default anything that's not auto booked, default it. And so far people they're cool with it. You know what I mean? Like
That's great. That's a great idea.
yeah, I'm trying to I don't even remember where it's at. Do you have inflatable office or what website do you use?
No, I don't. We only have 5 units. We just purchased another one. It's in the making. Actually, I saw the one you had made from Corona.
Oh yeah.
How do you like that?
It's been great. It's really good quality. I like it. I was actually chatting with Brian about it the other day.
Yeah, the LSU one. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Hey
I
Nick,
reached out to him and he's making me one.
is
One.
is Brian still with Corona? Like, is he still running that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I text him, or he texts me or something. No. I text him. I needed his opinion on something. I didn't even know if he'd text back, and then he's texting back. I'm like, what the fuck are you up to, bro? And then yeah, he's with Corona still. It's now part of Bouncing Angels. Not part of Bouncing Angels, but like he's got Bouncing Angels helping him with production, and then he's helping Bouncing Angels with design.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I told him, I'm like, bro, like of all the like, there's a million trillion billion different bounce houses out there, right? And then all of a sudden, he starts being on my. He was always on my stories, right? Posting pictures of a bounce house on, and then it's just these bounce houses on my stories. I'm like, bro, the stuff that you made was always like perfect. Like the color theory was right. Everything was just right. Like you're like my favorite designer, dude.
Yeah, it was cool. I saw the LSU one, and I'm like, that's sweet. I got a hold of him, and he's gonna make me a Buffalo Bills one.
Yeah, it's a good unit too, as far as rentals go, right? Because I'm in Louisiana, so
Yeah.
that theme does well. We kind of got it kind of late in the year last year, so this will be our first full year with it, and then yeah, quality is great, design is great. So far very pleased with it. Not having it, like I said, a full year yet, but really like it.
I
Excited.
have a 18-foot slide, the Starburst one from him. And yeah, same thing, man. I'm very happy with it.
That's good to know.
I wanted to do more with him, but I got a lot of conflicting stories about him, so I kind of like steered away from buying anything. But I don't know. I guess I'll reach out to him because he's legit, just as anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his design. Yeah, I know the Starburst one. I remember the first time I saw it come across on my phone. Like it was at the top. I'm like, what the fuck? Wow. Right. And I'm like,
Yeah, that thing is. People love that stupid slide.
Mm-hmm. Everything he was putting out back then. I mean, he was the first one I ever saw that did like the black, like kind of main black, but then with the neon green and neon pink.
Neon, yeah. That
like,
stuff look cool.
Dude, this is gonna change the game. Yeah, but I mean, he got, basically, and this is a very light conversation I had with him, but he almost did too good of a job where he got like so busy. You know what I mean? It was like hard to keep up. I'm like, well, bro, like I don't want to be the guy that says good problems to have, right? Because all of your employee friends always say that. You're like, I'm so fucking busy, I don't even know what to do. They're like, well, it's a good problem to have, right? Like, yes, but still, it's very stressful.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, I think we should call it, dude. It was only 2.5 hours tonight, but that's not a bad thing. So, all right, everybody, we're gonna call it a night.